just gotta let me go. Time wash away every feeling that can cause me pain. All these memories I can't escape. Can you let them all wash away? Let it all wash away, cause I don't wanna feel the pain. Love, just let me go, cause I don't wanna feel the pain of holding on and keeping strong. So now I'm moving on. I don't wanna feel the same, so love, just let me go. Guess I didn't know it went this way. One drink too much and I could see your face. Why did I let you go? How could I let you leave? Will I ever see you? And do you think of me? Love, let me go, cause I've been holding on for far too long. I've been fighting and keeping strong. Now you just gotta let me go. Time wash away every feeling that can cause me pain. All these memories I can't escape. Can you let them all wash away? Let it all wash away, cause I don't wanna feel the pain. Love, just let me go, cause I don't wanna feel the pain of holding on and keeping strong. So now I'm moving on. I don't wanna feel the same, so love, just let me go.
Take out two, then you got oh my god, look at EQ against INF. Interesting statistics.
Yeah, interesting statistics. I mean, that average elimination when you're looking at 5 is just something of absolute beauty. At this level of competition in PUBG Mobile Esports, having a 5 average elimination per game is absolutely.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain.
Hello guys, welcome back to the stream.
2022 finals in Jakarta. It's been such an electric atmosphere in the auditorium.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a little bit chilly. I'm still.
You're right.
Oh.
ये क्या हो रहा है?
Oh, the
there
heat
you
coming
go.
off this region though right now.
Oh.
It's bringing me heat. It's bringing me warmth. The top three. They're looking for a little bit more. I'm steaming right now with this on. I'm happy days. Anyway, let's keep this on for a little while longer. But heading over to the venue right now, checking out the players, checking out the watchers, the audience in tow.
VP comeback. Neo की stream देख. अरे वाह. यहीं से बैठ के Neo की stream देख.
Beautiful amount of turnout, just in terms of audience, just in terms of the amount of people that are here cheering. The audience is absolutely electric. And I don't think we could have asked for a better day one.
Nice.
Very surprising turnout with that 1-2-3 over in Brazil.
Excellent performance, not only from the teams, but from the crowd themselves. I think that's a big part of it. Sure, the national team that is here for the region, they might be at the bottom of the tables, but they are at the top of the tables when it comes to that support, which is phenomenal to see.
Yeah, I mean, I did get to actually speak to Denny earlier, the coach from Alter Ego, and what I was telling him was that like it kind of looks like this is a team that
Hello bro, hello. Neo के साथ कर लो.
Real bracket to get here.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in that point in time where it looks like they're completely lost, completely broken. I do think that when you see them, they're making the right moves. It's kind of those little things that are off, and I think that's to be expected with this kind of stage, this kind of level. And I think for Alter Ego,
जल्दी आएगा.
16th place would be a massive boost to their confidence today, and I think they can do that if they can continue with this good game sense. They just need to bring up that skill level in terms of the mechanical play, those team fights. And yesterday we saw them take out Nova in that 4v4, which is not easy to say the least. So I think that confidence is really something that is maybe holding them back a little bit, but we've seen it come out now and again, and it works. So
Discord पे ला लो.
to relieve that pressure,
ले रहा.
relate to what Nenebete was saying in the case of just breathe, keep it calm, keep it cool. It's what you've got to do in the Pmgc. With this being a sprint, 3 days only, you have to keep that cool at all times.
Plane path for match number 7 here at the grand finals. Goes north to south. Again, we've seen fairly fair plane paths over the course of the entirety of yesterday. We're going to continue that trend today, it seems, to kick things off here for our first Erangel match of the day. The first of 6 matches that we'll be seeing.
Absolutely, John. I think that's something that's been really interesting to watch. And in the case of, like, there's no one that can really go out after these games have concluded on the old Instagrams, on the old socials, and say, look, this team didn't deserve that win. They were gifted it. They had the best position in terms of playing path, in terms of circle. I think everyone's had to really work for their position on the map, and they certainly will have to here. This doesn't really favour anyone at all. It's a difficult circle to play. This could be heading over towards Yasnaya, in which case we have that finish over in the compounded area, which currently Influence Kemen very happy about. And this is the first time we're seeing this circle up towards that northeastern side, and with those statistics coming through, Influence Kemen is the best team so far on Erangel, despite having one of the lowest damage numbers here out of those top teams. This could be a really good chance for them. Inco, though, we know how they do. Already sending their way up towards that northern side of the map, that northeast side, to get a position, to get placement, and go from there.
Just getting those vehicles first on board, and Inco will be moving a little bit further. In Alpha 7, our current leaders with a 9-point lead against Inco will be on that northwestern side and trying to get as much loot as they can. And if you guys are trying to get as much loot as you can at home, make sure you're checking out the 2022 Pmgc Special Crate, available until January the 8th.
We know with the way I've been seeing these players in game, I'm very jealous of these outfits at the moment. Probably one of the coolest PMGC skins, in my opinion.
भाई देख लिया वो वीडियो भाई कितने बार देखा होगा एक ही वीडियो
till January 8th, so the time is running out right now, just one more day, so make sure you can grab them while
guys
maybe
अपना टाइम बहुत कम है शायद स्ट्रीम ऑफ हो सकता है
depending even on time zones. You got to be quick on that store.
क्या इशू हो गया तेरा
दिमाग खराब हो गया भाई मेरा अबे लाइट कटा हुआ है और ना भाई पता नहीं इन्वर्टर ना थोड़े टाइम बाद बंद हो जाता है पीसी से ही बस पता नहीं जनरेटर लगाना है
Fireflux, IHC, all clumped up towards North George and South. Got Fireflux currently making their way down that west yellows.
Nice.
A great place to pick
भाई
up
एकदम
some more
टाइमिंग पे आया
vehicles.
पता मैं कस्टम स्क्रिम्स खेल रहा
Two
था
players at the moment. I imagine they'll grab
अबे तू
board
आया
and
क्यों
get
नहीं
back up
फेस
towards
कैम
Ketch
लेफ्ट
and
करो
Lutz.
भाई
Hello,
तूने आईडी
bro.
पास भेजा ही नहीं
whatsoever,
मैं
because
भाई
it's
मेरे
gonna
पे
give you more
है ही नहीं
time.
कुछ
Even
भी
if you only have
तो
two
तुम मेरे को
vehicles,
मैसेज करेगा ना
having two
लाला
players
अगर तू
is
उठा हुआ है
great
तो
because you have phenomenal amount of loot
अबे
early
मैं
on,
सुबह से
which means
उठा
when they
हुआ हूँ
do
तो मैं
head
किस
towards
को
the
पूछूं भाई
circle,
सोलो
yes, they'll
जाके
have
अब
to
सबको
move
पूछता
soon,
रहूं
but
मैं
at least they'll have some game
यही
to
बोल
deal
रहा
with.
तुम फाइनल डे कब है
Flux
शैडो
2
कल है
and
कल है
2 on the
कल है
west
फाइनल डे
coast. We saw Buradam rotating 2 and 2 on the
मैं तो
east
ग्रुप
side,
पे भी
probably
नहीं हो रहा
going towards Lipovka, which is just on the edge
यहाँ
of this
पता
first
नहीं
zone.
इसमें दिख नहीं रहा
So
है
वो
we'll
मेरे को क्योंकि
see a
शांतनु
little
सुबह
bit
बोला
of
तो
looting
पौंडीचेरी
going on
चलेगा
there. Inco
बोला ठीक है
breaking
नहीं नहीं
north
मैं
with
हाँ
some of
कल
the
जाऊंगा
players
मैं
as well,
पापा के साथ जा
moving
रहा हूँ
up to that east side of Yasnaya and
पापा
influencing
का
that
कोई
इन्वेटर
group
का
to
बैटरी
take
गया
the
भाई
time.
लाला एंड लाला
Sending a
प्रॉब्लम
player
से वो
up north, Kayovski
नहीं
gonna
गया है
move
भाई
up
रुक
towards the
जाओ
top of
है
South
अभी
End,
टाइम
maybe
पता
even
नहीं
West
कितना टाइम है भाई
It's a really
मैं पापा
interesting
को बोला
meta
हूँ
that Inco's
भाई
kind of bringing
लाइट
out
के
these
लिए
days because I
लाइट
no longer
इधर
think
कुछ
that
हो रहा है
Inco
भाई
has
कुछ
the
लगा
C
रहे हैं
drop
लोग
spot
बाजू में
anymore. For them, they have a
बाद में भाई
generalized
करेंगे
position
तो
where they'll
बोल
drop
हेलो
on
भाई
the map,
हेलो
but
भाई
that's not their spot
एसटी का
entirely per
चिकन
se.
यस
It's just a case of this is where
एसटी का
they'll
चिकन
begin their journey. A lot of times, this is more of a case of dropping on top of vehicles because they
कितना
instantly
फोन
send
चोरी
it
हो
towards
चुका
a
है भाई
position
मेरा ना
where they can start to
11
play
प्रो
out the
मैक्स
rest of the
गुम गया
game a
मतलब
lot easier for themselves.
मैं ना
It
उसको
does
यूज
mean
नहीं
that they
करता
get
था
quite a
11
lot
प्रो
of
मैक्स
trash
को
loot.
रखा
We
हुआ था
saw
बस
this towards
बूट कैंप पे
the
ही
end game of the final game yesterday, where
फिर ना
IHC
एक दो
had
महीने
that
बाद जब वापस
absolute
मैं घर जा रहा था ना तब मैं
blinder of a
एक दो
match.
दिन पहले
But when you saw
ढूंढने
Nanavet,
लगा
he was having that
कि
one
किधर है
shotgun
फोन
available,
देखो जरा
luckily nothing else
मिल ही
on
नहीं रहा है
board.
भाई गायब
T2K rolling up on the rotate.
ढूंढने को भी लगा है
One on
बोलते
the
है ही
trades
नहीं
right now, but IHC are giving them a
अबे
little bit of hell here.
क्या
Legend
नौकरी
taken down as well. And what
क्या
is this?
सीन
IHC
भाई
trying to turn it
घुस
around.
घुस के मार रहे तो
Shot
भाई
not good. And there's a sliver of HP on the inside. Oh, it's all coming apart. Godless.
भाई घुस घुस के मार दिया
अरे
इसने
बाप रे बाप भाई
Alex is going to be happy to have had
बहुत
him
भारी
at
का
his
होता है
side.
तब पता है
अबे टी2 के बार अच्छा खेली कर पता है
T2K certainly feeling godless right there. No miracle
में
from
14
above
किल
to
ना
16
save them from that devilish presence. Seriously good
वो
stuff.
चिकन मार लेते थे
Very
वो लोग
snappy
हाँ
too.
बे उन लोग थोड़ा हक
On
दिया
the
पर वो
flicks
बंदा
there
क्या
from
मारा
Godless.
पीछे
T2K looking
आगे
for a little bit of revenge from match
यही
6
यही तो था
yesterday.
हाँ यही तो था
Unable to find it even though
ये
they
नहीं
did
था
have
बे
the drop. 4 AM.
IHC का ही था
Chin
हाँ ये चाहिए था
maybe
वो
looking for
था
a couple of shots. And right now
भूल
IHC
गया था
are just a little bit tight at the moment. They're all hunkered up. This could be a
उसको
recipe for
सब किया हुआ
disaster.
पता है
There's
और
a
अभी
vehicle on the
क्यों?
outside. Ching
वो अभी
Chen
खेल नहीं
right
रहे
now
देखना अभी नहीं है
starting to move
खेल नहीं
out.
रहे
4 AM maybe hoping to get ahead of the pack here. They realize they do need to get further in. They made their
गॉडलेस
sprint
डेमो
nice
एलेक्स
and
और वो
early
होगा
over from North of George. They were ahead of
IC
8-7.
अरे
We're
जियोल
still up
IC
towards Arky side.
IC नहीं है जियोल था जियोल
Influence coming at the top of
जियोल
Stelba
था
now. T2K, they lost the majority of their
भारी
players
सीन
there,
भाई
but they still have one. And they'll be in the hills, on the ridge
Shadow.
sides on the west of Stelba.
IC पता है इनका IGL है
आईसी
Playing on as far as they
IGL
can
को
do.
बिठा
Fifth
दिया
place right now, 51 points, so T2K
आईसीएल
having
को
a
ही
pretty
बैठा
solid
दिया
day one overall.
माइक
Great way to
ऑफ
start their
क्या
day
बात
two.
कर रहे हो भाई
Geek
तुम तब से मैं बोल रहा हूँ ऑन है भाई
7th place on the
Shadow
tables,
कैसे आवाज जा
very
रही है
close
बताओ
by as well. From
अबे
4th
तो तेरा
all the way
stream
down
पागल बना
to,
रहे क्या
I would say 9th.
नहीं
There is
भाई
that sort of clear bracket. Probably 8th, you could probably cut it out at,
देख तो
but
एक बार
it
चेक कर
is
दो
looking like you have that central pack. If they can catch up to Inco and Alpha 7,
भाई तुम लोग क्या बात कर
fantastic.
रहे हो
But
बताओ
अबे लॉल्स के डिस्कॉर्ड है हेलो लॉल्स के डिस्कॉर्ड आओ
going on,
अबे
5
लॉल्स के
points
डिस्कॉर्ड
from
में मैं नहीं
3rd
हूँ
down to 8th.
हाँ तो लेना भाई फिर
क्या
It
ले
is a case of
लॉल्स का डिस्कॉर्ड
a lot
इसके
of these
यूट्यूब से
teams
लेना
having
जाके
अबे इसमें आ जाओ ना तुम लोग क्या
great
होगा
opportunity to
अरे
actually
उधर बैठे
find
सब
their way
बैठे
on
कौन
the
अबे तू
board.
भी आ गया अभी शैडो भी है
अरे तू उधर आ जाना लॉल्स के
उधर
डिस्कॉर्ड
कौन-कौन है?
यूट्यूब से लेना
अबे भाई
उधर
कौन
लॉल्स
कौन
है
है
और
उधर
2-3 लोग हैं
आ जाना उनको इधर ही
हम
बुला
भी तो
ले
3 लोग है बे आजा बुला ले
Highly elevated too, so it's
बैठ
going
ना
to
इधर
give
ही
so
बैठ
much information.
हाँ
Kind of banking
ची
on
इधर
the
तो
central spot.
फाइट चल रहा है
Over
इधर
towards the
बैठने
eastern
इधर
side,
नहीं।
I think
अरे
the
तू बैठ ना
circle,
इधर बच्ची
he could outplay them
अरे
right
भाग
now
गया।
towards that northern side, but they're playing the
भाग
numbers
गया
game at this
अबे
point in time.
धोखा
And for Inco,
धोखा
they can play the numbers game all day long. I think for them, it's
बुलाने
really
गया क्या वो?
blast out games that are super beneficial for
ये
them.
बुलाने गया
They do taper off sometimes, though we have seen them start off very slow and then ramp up towards the end of the day.
Music,
The
अच्छा
only thing that really
माइक
worries me about
music
Inco,
रुक
I
इधर
think A7 has that kind of consistent streak where they get that momentum
मेरे
on
को
board and it's good.
अरे बहन ब्राजीलियन डोमिनेंस है बे इधर
अबे
उर्दू
ये
अरे
Start
सुनने का
the game
सुनो
right now.
ये सुनो ये हिंदी क्यों चाहिए
Scary for a lot of the rest of the lobby.
अरे भाई
You talking about some of
लग
these
रहा है
teams
मेरी
down
पब्लिक
towards the
थोड़ी
bottom
वो है
side? I think it's
चलो
still
कोई
very
नहीं
malleable, like you said.
उर्दू चाहिए
You know, even down to
उर्दू चाहिए क्या
उर्दू में अच्छा ये नहीं करते
अबे क्या सुनोगे लोहा ने भेजिया चमाट हेलो एरमीज ब्रो हेलो नियोमी
अबे कल तो भाई अबे नियो बंदे लोगों ने हाईलाइट डाल दिए तेरा और मेरा झगड़ा हो गया
हैं अबे किधर है उर्दू अबे उर्दू ही तो नहीं मिल रहा अरे यार तुम लोग ना अलग
पाकिस्तान वाले चैनल में मिलेगा देख
They do have the chops on them to bring out an insane couple of days, which would send them right towards the top. We've seen them do it before, and it's always terrifying to see Nova get
English
on
में
that
देख बे
streak.
बहुत slow
Circle popped on the east side. Does keep a little bit of water out on the east coast as well, but does allow teams to make that call, that decision to leave from Stauber, to move past Yasnaya.
English में देखो ना बे
So a lot of teams can make a lot of decisions, and when a lot of teams are making a lot of decisions, that
भाई आज
means a
नोवा
lot of
कमबैक करेगी कि नहीं
are
करेगी
coming into conflict, and that's exactly what's happening.
करेंगे भाई करेंगे
और एसटी अपने
Influence came in as well as
Nova
and the home ground team. Alter Ego at the moment it's going 1-for-1. 2 go down for Alter Ego, and Ponbit now left last standing.
लो भाई कर दिया भाई कम अब मत बोलना कुछ करने
highlights वाले highlights
Hello.
hello hello
yeah
Yeah, again, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the day.
English
It's
ही
that
अच्छी
team
अपना
fight
हिंदी
that
हिंदी
really is the
क्या तेल
problematic
लेने
for
गया
AE. You can see that they're making all the right moves, all the right decisions. They don't seem lost, they don't seem hopeless, but it's that extra
हिंदी
little
मातृभाषा
bit of
बच्ची मातृभाषा
PMGC
पर
power
उर्दू
they
है
are missing.
अले ओला उर्दू में सू बोले जो है ना खबर
Hopefully they can
उर्दू
bring
है
that
वो
back on board.
अरे
हिंदी
उर्दू में
नहीं है
क्या
Down
क्या
fans.
बोल रहे उसको ही पता भाई आधा नींद में
हिंदी
तो बैठा रहता
मातृभाषा
है
उर्दू मातृभाषा नहीं है अपना नियो भाई
Not
आप
always
लोग
the
नहीं
worst in
खेल
the
रहे हो
world, can hide
टूर्नामेंट
out for quite some time.
आसिफ खान भाई तुम ही बोले ना उर्दू लगा
Kudo seem to know something that everyone doesn't right now about these circles. They have a very, very good handle on where these are going to end
पर
up, where
पादरे
the
लोग आए
center's
चैट
going to
में
be.
कर
A
चेमड़े
little
लोग
bit
आए
down
चैट
towards
में
that south side. I wouldn't say that.
भाई
massive. I think
Brazilian
heading up towards
dominance है
north
बे top 3
isn't
में
really
जाएगा
ideal in terms
Brazilian,
of positioning.
चौकों में जाएगा
Right now they have a very, very strong
जाना पड़ेगा
spot, a
ब्राजील
strong base
भाई
of operations to play from. Just in
Brazil
terms of
hotties.
scouting, just in terms of getting that information on board. This is really
भाई
good.
सबसे
ब्राजील चल बे अबे ब्राजील चल बे
On
हॉट
3
लड़के
after
और
their
हॉट लड़कियां ना
engagement.
ब्राजील में ही रहते रहेंगे
Fairly centrally
अभी
on this circle.
tournament
S2G
ब्राजील में कराना चाहिए
further
भाई कितना
north, they
भारी
did
मजा आएगा
spot out a player, I believe.
भाई वीपी लास्ट चल रही है
influence
बे
came in, but that did get res.
ये लोग ही जीते थे ना
Down
भाई
the
back
hill,
to back
भाई आप
Vampire have not had the most successful of days from the glory that they found in PMWI. It has been a little bit of a fall from grace in their regional stage and the group stages earlier this in December back in 2022. It wasn't the Vampire that
अच्छी
we
ओवर
were
एग्रेस कर रही
expecting to be able
है
to
मार
come
रहे
into
तो भाई
this
उनको
one, but they still have a little bit more time. We
Russian
talked
का
about
insult
Nova
मत कर।
being able to put up massive performances towards the
Russian
end,
क्या
to
है?
in those small day
8-7
frames.
हज़ार।
Hopefully Vampire can have that
Frozen।
resurgence as well.
8-7
इतने में तो
That would
वीजा
be
बन जाता है
ideal,
उन लोग का
would be good stuff for Vampire. I think if you look at their December performance as well,
ये देख,
it wasn't exactly
Shadow
what
अचानक
we
से
wanted to
8-7
see
हज़ार
from
क्या
them,
सोच रहा है
but
भाई
there's certainly those moments
तू
where
सोच
it
रहा है तू
felt
बता
like
रहा है बे रेट
they really had
मैं
that
तो उसका
gold
वीजा का रेट
on
बता
their
रहा हूँ
shoulders, and it was a case of we just
उससे
need to
वीजा
qualify
बनता
so
है
we
देख
can put
कैसा
those
देख
points up.
रेट
हाँ देख रहे हैं देख रहे हैं
क्या
See
क्या
the
रेट
play.
भाई
I think the Vampire is just finding that rhythm, finding that movement.
लॉल्स
works
पहले
so
हंसा था
well for
पर
them. At the moment, it feels a little bit awkward. Not quite there as of yet. Geek fam,
ओए शैडो हेलो
get some
तुम
gear
क्या उर्दू
delivered
देख
from
रहे हो
on
या
high.
हिंदी
You high
हिंदी
does
बोल
not
रहा हूँ
English.
अंग्रेजी
इंग्लिश देख रहे इंग्लिश
sends right past.
हिंदी लैंग्वेज का वॉचिंग
Further
बढ़ेगी
in
अरे
towards
बच्ची
a
यार
compound to play from.
इंग्लिश
4
समझो
however, snuck
पढ़ाई
away
पढ़ाई
from
बढ़
that
जाएगी
north side. Really good stuff from them, considering
अरे
they
यहाँ
were
पे
from
बेसिक
North
तो
George.
बोलते हैं
They made
लोग
a
कौन सा
very
एकदम ही
apt
खतरनाक
rotate.
डाल देते हैं कुछ
The difficulty now for them
भाई
is
और
that they're
आराम
surrounded
आराम
by
से
a
भी
lot of
बोलते
teams.
हैं
एकदम आराम आराम से
This
बोलते
position
हो
about
क्या
taking any
पोजीशन
knocks
कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इतना
is
तो पता ही
very
रहता है भाई तो
impressive.
Firefly
10 स्टैंडर्ड के पहले
on
पढ़
the
लेते
south side coming into conflict with
तुमको सर्कल
Vampire.
नहीं पता गाइस सर्कल तो बोल रहा है
With Vampire on the lead in terms
ये
of
सब
their position.
वेस्टर्न कल्चर है
A little bit sticky. Inco still very central north side. Alpha 7 behind the queue.
increase discord
For
volume भाई
influence
मेरे
coming
कान में बजेगा
on
पता है वो
outside of the circle. Quite a few teams
यो भाई थैंक्स
Pika.
आपने मेरा क्वेश्चन
going to be looking to push in from that
talks
northern
में
side. S2G though they've made it up to this cliff face.
और एपिसोड
Stalwart want to
में
back them
फर्स्ट
off, but that's
क्वेश्चन
easier
मेरा
said
ही
than
था
done.
अरे रे
Stalwart.
सही बात है
Nice
मैंने
spot
नहीं
for
लिया
them.
वो
Up
लोग
on
ने
high
ऑलरेडी चूज
side
करके
is
रखा था
moves
वो
up.
बोलने का था
Tries to gather a little bit of this information.
इनका क्या
Very good
दिखता है
angle
नियो
though,
में
coming
स्ट्रीम
through
स्नाइपर
from
है इधर
Scribe
पे
back there with DP. It's going to be hugely difficult now for S2G to crest this one. Not only with Stalwart in the way, but you're also looking at 4am. This does make this quite the difficult exit. Luckily with the circle,
भाई जैसा कल A7 और ये इनको खेल रही थी मेरे को लगा 100 पॉइंट पार हो जाएंगे.
4am to even
आज अगर ऐसे खेला ना तो लीड अच्छी खासी ले लेंगे पता है.
भाई ST नोवा कमबैक करनी चाहिए आज. फिर मजा आएगा थोड़ा देखने में.
13-14
Getting a little bit bold with it.
13-14-15 ये देखना तीनों भाई
Can't really afford to go down, but they do have enough cover to drop him back towards the rest of the team in the position that they're in.
Dobby, mic to kholo.
Even if he does get knocked here. Losing Ray Z though for S2G.
ऐसे ही चुप हूँ मैं. ऐसे ही तुम्हारी बातें सुन रही हूँ. जिम विम भी जा रही हो, पानी पूरी भी खा रही हो, तो क्या हो गया यार?
क्या मतलब हो गया?
ऐसे ही होता है भाई. भाई एटलीस्ट मैदा तो नहीं खा रही. ये मोटिवेशन देखना.
जंक फूड से कुछ नहीं होता क्या?
जंक फूड से तो सब कुछ होता है भाई. पानी पूरी से क्या होता है? पानी पूरी में वो है, सूजी का होता है वो.
पर पूरी भी मैदे की बन रही.
पानी पूरी, अरे पानी पूरी मतलब गोलगप्पे, उसमें मैदा का
बनते हैं. पूरी भी मैदे की बनती है, बताने के लिए बोलते हैं.
पूरी क्या होती है?
पानी भरते हैं.
वही तो सूजी के होते हैं.
नहीं
दो टाइप के होते हैं. हाँ तो पर मैं सूजी वाला खाती. अरे यार
बताता है तुमको, पूछते सूजी से बना.
हाँ वो पूछता है तुम्हें आटे के खाने हैं कि सूजी के खाने हैं. कर यार नहीं.
हाँ ये मीम था. सूजी है क्या? क्या बोले? अरे भाई सूजी है क्या?
west, they are kind of cut off from a lot of the action. It's going to keep them safe for a long while in the game, so we can expect high rank from them. You could see there that
भाई इसमें भी वुमेन बैंगर लोगों को नॉलेज दो, उसमें भी वुमेन. गंदे
लोग कौन सी जगह पे खेल रहे हैं एकदम ऐसा.
Wait to see what they can find. Order spots out a central position for an Anabete.
मारेगा भैया इनको स्टडी करके.
Lighten them up. Becca not really in a position.
कोई चारों एक साथ खेल रही है, देखो वहाँ की आँख.
Inko still at 4 alive with Vitali half HP down the hill. Vitali was a massive
अबे मलेशिया वाले मारते
in yesterday's games. Hopefully able to put up the performance again. Oh dear.
भाई अभी लोग नहीं है.
Up goes the vehicle and Geek fam.
अबे क्या चुप कर रहे हैं लोग?
The Malaysian team, specifically Yuhai, currently on loan for BTR, has been absolutely fantastic for Geek fam so far. Up in smoke goes Influence Kemin. Not the ideal start for them, considering they were on the warpath to try and ladder up just a little bit.
भाई मैं तो देख रहा हूँ एकदम से लाला लाइव आ जाता है. मैं बोला इसको क्या हो गया?
Towards the top of the table, second and first, respectively.
अरे संदेश बोका जो तेरे मारे.
Great spot over towards Inko.
अबे नहीं हो. मेरा वैनगार्ड वाला प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है. रीस्टार्ट होने के बाद भी नहीं ठीक हो रहा है. क्या करूं? राइट वैनगार्ड का कुछ एरर आ रहे हैं.
अरे तो फिर ना तेरा वो टैब टास्क मैनेजर खोलने का और उसमें ना एप्लीकेशंस में आके ना किधर तो भी वैलोरेंट चालू रहेगा, उसको भी बंद कर.
The smoke is there giving them some cover, but IHC are crumbling here under the pressure from Geek fam.
अबे मर गई IHC.
Down the Malaysian squad, up to 5 eliminations now with Yuhai.
मेरे बैकग्राउंड में ना किधर और एक जगह पे वैलोरेंट चालू रहेगा.
It's the Remnant. Yeah, Alpha 7 trying to rock up and it's not going well. 1, 2, 3 players falling. And Alpha 7 are part of the scenes as well.
अबे A7 तो वाइप हो गई बे. भाई
A7 के साथ भारी सीन हो गया.
एक बंदा बचा है. अबे मेरे को लग रहा है भाई ऐसे तो नोवा और ST कम
है. ड्रॉप इसमें. The final two players from Influence came in.
एक तापेला है बच्ची यार.
भाई ये गीक का मीका भी बहुत खतरनाक खेलते होते हैं.
Is worth a lot for the team. It's really good work and for Alpha 7. It's the case of that moving a little bit too late.
एड्रेस दे दो,
Took
मोमो
their
बेचता
time
हूं.
over towards North Jordan, maybe expected for it to stick around a little bit longer. Was
यूआई को ये भी बहुत अच्छी टीम मिली है.
Ascend eastwards. 4am had already left. You can see how much this has benefited them.
कौन सा प्रॉब्लम है?
Northern side will have to move down. Or DRS should become far more valuable.
ST निकाल सकते हैं.
Talked about them too.
देखना राइट में.
INF तो मर जाएगी अभी.
अबे DRS भी निकाल सकते हैं, पता है निकालने को.
Really bring things back.
अबे DRS से कल क्या चिकन निकाला था? बोला भाई लोग तो फॉर्म में. फिर गायब
ही निकाला था ना.
ओह शाक.
नियो भाई BGMI कब आएगा?
Just how much they're willing to take that.
गेम दूसरी बार बैन हो रहा है,
takes a
पहली
knee.
बार में नहीं
Should be
पता
resolved,
Hello,
but
Mir
still,
bhai.
a nice little opening there for four Angry Men on that northern
नो भाई
side.
बूट
Still,
कैंप पे
a
नीचे
lot of
आओ,
players to push
प्लीज
in from
मिल
this
लो
northern edge.
भाई मैं अभी घर पे
I
हूँ
am
बूट कैंप
not
पे।
immune to caster
अबे
cursing.
गॉड में
भाई,
स्टोरी
बीच को
डाला
तो
है कि फ्लाइट में किधर है, बूट कैंप है क्या?
Still think this
हाँ
team
बुट कैंप है
has
ना वो
one of the best
आ गया वो
chances out of the Chinese
हो रहा है क्या
team.
हो रहा है क्या वो?
नहीं नहीं वो
Really
शूट
make
है
a
उसका वो
break
लेट
out
टॉक
of that top 5 today.
अबे तो उसका
Purely
तो
off the back
स्टोरी
of
भी डाल
just
दिया।
watching
अच्छा
back the VODs yesterday.
हाँ तो आज उसका वो
looking
वीडियो
at
बना रहे हैं
certain positions that they took around the
2x
circle.
How are you?
Highly
Good,
tactical,
good.
very cerebral. It looked good. They were in the
भाई
right
तू
place
नियो
at the
गॉड
right
के
time.
क्वेश्चन देखता ना तू
कैसे
बोलता
हो?
क्या
Always
क्वेश्चन
winning
है
those engagements though.
क्या क्वेश्चन
They
है?
still
अच्छी
have
है,
that
बढ़िया है।
firepower to boot. So I think for 4am this could be a very good day. Still reasonably consistent.
अबे इनके
वाले
जीरो
तो-
किल है तब से नॉक दे रहे वाले
Few
एसटी
more
वाले
points on board. Ching Chen looks down.
Ah,
the
मिला,
भाई
मिला,
बोल
मिला।
रहे हैं बिटीज ब्रो मार
Oh,
भाई
they are just not going to stand the test there. Unfortunately, Geek
Oh,
found
okay.
eliminated. 5
Karo bhi
eliminations
awaaz.
into the mix, though. It's not an awful result for them.
अबे नहीं तो कल
भाई
देख रहा था ना
4M
वॉच
चैंपियन
पार्टी
बन गई और
So just
अबे
Eco
ब्रो
stands
अगर
on
4M
Brazilian
चैंपियन
top
बन गई
three.
और उसमें सुख नहीं है भाई बता
4 players alive for them.
नहीं,
You
नहीं,
said
ऐसा
it
भी
was
नहीं होगा भाई।
precarious,
जिंदगी
the
में कोई
position
सुख
that
नहीं
they had.
रहेगा
A little bit of a Hail Mary, potentially.
4M ऐसे
But
चैंपियन बन गई।
they have now managed to outlast everybody else
Chicken
that's surrounding
clubhouse
them on
sandwich.
those tables. So
Cow-
can they just keep
क्या
themselves
खाओ?
together at 4
Submarine-
and get
submarine
deep into
जैसा
the
बनाया
game?
है।
Still 0 eliminations.
You got like
12
you
teams in the lobby. There's a very high
पास्ता
chance
खाने का
right
मन कर
now
रहा है,
that
चिकन
Inco
पास्ता खाएगा।
is one of the teams
कल
at
देखा तूने
risk.
नहीं नोवा मरते ही वो लोग
Maybe
कैसा
also
शोर
with
कर रहे थे
just
ऑडियंस
remaining.
हाँ
और पैराबॉय की
Very
फैन
risk.
गर्ल्स आई हुई थी पूरा
I
टाइम
think for Inco, one of these top teams.
भाई
difficult push
पैराबॉय को
for
पूरा
them.
गर्ल सपोर्ट मिल
A
रहा
lot
था
of
वहाँ पे
open space around them. You can
पूरा
see
ऐसा
that
बोर्ड वोर्ड
Nova
लेके
getting
हाँ,
harassed. Nova's got a great bead onto this position too, and they'll be
Shadow
continuing
बोलते हैं,
to
अपने को ऐसा
watch
चाहिए।
down over towards
नहीं
it.
भाई
Jimmy,
है ना गॉड के
a
पास
little bit, get some shots
गॉड के पास है ना
Shadow अपनी दिल की बात बता रहा है।
Will fall.
गॉड के पास है तो
First
Shadow बोलते हैं
generation
मेरे को।
of the game found.
Puts them up to that 70-point mark. They're now 8 points behind
तू
Alpha
कौन सी
7
टीम से खेलता है ब्रो, मेरे को नहीं पता भाई।
on their run here.
Easy
11
से
teams
खेलते
remain,
हैं,
34
टी
players.
सी से
Easy।
So we've seen quite a few
Yeah.
casualties
Esports
so
club.
far.
हाँ
DRS, 4 Angry Men, Inco,
सही में उसका नाम दी स्पोर्ट्स क्लब है?
Stalwart currently.
हाँ
क्या बात है उधर इंडिया में उन्होंने टूर्नामेंट बनाते हैं स्पोर्ट्स क्लब। क्या बात है?
Looks like they will be able to do so. Fireflux on the south side.
अरे
Took some
भाई।
punishment earlier on.
नहीं भाई
their
शेजवान बिरयानी
rotations.
खाए, अबे बिरयानी में शेजवान कौन खाता है?
Overall
वो
looking to make sure
चिकन
that they feel
ट्रिपल
as
राइस
though
हो जाता है
Wolves-
चुतियो।
They have lost a player short, but they're still
अबे
in
यार
that
लैग हो
high
रहा है
ground
ब्रो, मेरा
position.
पता नहीं क्यों।
The
वो
issue with
बिट्रेट
this
कम
high
कर दे
ground spot is that it's very open. I think
अबे
getting
ये
here early
यूट्यूब
on
वाला अभी भी मार रहा है क्या
sort
कल
of
से
forced to
बेंचो
play
किलर
this spot,
वाइटी
but you have to play it very aggressively. Looking at Wolves
अबे कल
yesterday, I
किसी ने
don't
पीट
think
डाउन
they
किया
have
था
that strength, that power
नहीं हो भाई।
to really push out this position.
भाई
to
निक्सन
start
का वो
blasting.
मिनी व्लॉग भी
Next
खतरनाक
circle
बनाया।
moves back over
मजा
towards
आ
Inco, in fact. This is a great chance for them to
अबे
continue
पता है
to stay
नियो
strong. Nova, in fact,
Hey,
pushed
बेटी,
out
इसी
just
मतलब
a little
Titan
bit.
Gaming
This might be
Club,
time
नियो
for Inco to pull
अच्छा
out
टाइटन
first.
गेमिंग अबे
DRS
चाइना वाला
got
देख
the
ब्रो
hand in the pocket.
टाइटन है
Sends some shots back
क्या पता,
across. You
बोल
can
रहा
see
है
there
एक
the Mini
बंदा।
14. I think I saw an SKS as well.
Seems that they are maybe potentially a little bit low on meds. You talked about how they trash loot quite a
भाई
lot.
बड़ा के लिए नो
They
अब
have
अब है
taken
ना।
quite a beating so far.
भाई,
to
हाँ,
try and
Titan
get
Esports
position, so
Club
maybe
है।
they're
हाँ,
trying to
Titan
save
है।
those men
नहीं बे,
for a little bit
टी-
later on.
अबे,
Over the top, a lot of
मैं
damage,
जो
but
बोला ना
doesn't get the knock from Kelsey. S2G trying
ये
to
भाई
अच्छा, वो
put
कुछ और
pressure
है।
in
खेलेगी
towards the
गॉड
health
गाइस,
bars of
जब
4
गेम
Angry
आएगा
Men.
जब इंटरनेशनल
But the
टूर्नामेंट
टाइटन है वो,
good.
टाइटन
Smokes
है।
are there.
चाइना
They're
वाला
looking to
टाइटन
try
है।
and flow around this side.
Yeah, this is
नहीं हो
smart
तो इसका
motion
लूटर पे
because
स्ट्रीम करने वाला है क्या
Foreign's compound
ना,
currently is
Titan
locked away from ST.
अबे
They
मेरी
won't
बात
be able
तो
to
सुन
engage on this fight. So for S2G, they've
अबे जो
identified this is probably the
एक
only play
पोस्ट था
they
ना
have.
जिसमें मिल गया था मेरा
For
फोन
4am, they need to
हाँ।
react to this soon. It's
भाई
a
वो
great
पोस्ट
nade on the
हटा
double.
दिया भाई।
Ching Chen, perfectly placed. They're out
हटा
in the
दिया?
open.
क्यों
They couldn't take the
क्या
shots,
पता
but a nade like that will do the trick massively.
हाँ
पोस्ट डाल दे
It's
किसी ने।
unlikely that 400 men are going
हाँ
to get that
क्या
flash
match
there,
हो
but there is a lineup
फिर?
coming through. There's an 8 hang on a minute.
हटा
Smack just
दिया वो।
launched one over the top of S2G.
चलो भाई जॉन ही नहीं कर रहा क्या लाइव अरे ब्रो वो है ही नहीं ब्रो दुबई में कहाँ से लाइव करेगा
अबे उसको पकड़ तो लिया
टॉप फॉर्म में आ गया था स्टील
फोन
फायर
वगैरह दिखाया कि
सही बात है
अपना
सही
फोन
बात
पकड़
है
लिया
Put it down to
सही
deal
बात है।
with as well.
और वो फिर
South side
मारेंगे भाई अभी देखो दो ने उन पे मारेंगे मारेंगे PSG फुल मारेंगे भी
हटा दिया भाई आज स्ट्रीम पे नहीं बे वो उधर FIR किया मैंने
अच्छा
अबे तभी
तो फैमिली भी आई थी ना तूने करा था
उधर नहीं किया था इधर आने के बाद किया था चेल्सी को बोला था मैंने
अभी क्या बचा है
nearly tags Svan but
फिर अभी क्या गया चल दिया
चल दिया इसका फोन
क्या
चल दिया
हाँ मैंने दूसरा फोन ले लिया.
कौन सा लिया? 14 Pro.
14 Pro Max. तू तो प्रो लेने वाला था.
अभी वो बहुत छोटा दिख रहा था बे.
प्रो नहीं भाई. प्रो से 10,000 डाल के प्रो मैक्स ले लो. बड़े साइज.
तो भाई 1v4 कर दिया तो नहीं मार देगा.
अरे एक्शन भर दिया.
वो एक्शन मारा उसको.
भाई चाइना वाले देख एकदम छोटे से
अबे अरे बच गया. अबे भाई मार देता बे. गए. अरे बच गया.
नहीं बच गया.
Stalwart took their chance, but T2K
पूरे का धक
भाई एक नेड आने वाला. इधर एक नेड आने वाला लग रहा है मेरे को.
एक नेड आएगा.
Perhaps they can restabilize this one, but that was looking very.
अरे
अच्छा
गाड़ी हो गई. हाँ भाई तीनों बच गए बे. एक नेड आ रहा है. देख स्काई फेंकेगा. 1v4 है. 1v4 है. 1v4. ओ बच गए.
मर गए लोग.
बच गए बे.
बाप रे क्या नसीब रे इनका.
नेड आ रहा है भाई स्ट्राइक का.
वो देख रहा है कहाँ फेंके.
टप गया रे टप गया.
नहीं डाला.
He could absolutely, but didn't want to pull the pin on it.
अबे तो अरे वाह.
400 men
इस जमीन के अंदर
allowed
एक
another
पिक
opportunity.
फिट
7
सामने है.
eliminations and all 4 of them
सु कभी एजी के साथ खेल
are
रहा
still
है.
alive, but they have to move further south.
It's a really tough position to kind of counteract that one. Because you get the instant flush on that second grenade from Span, you assume that's the team done.
अबे नोवा ने
Not the way it is.
अबे नोवा ने किंग को बैठा दिया.
Over towards Fire Flush.
Frozen
क्या लाइनअप बनाया इन लोगों ने. ये सब असॉल्टर है क्या गाइस? कोई बताना मुझे.
किसका?
अबे WL जो टीम है शायद उसमें सारे असॉल्टर है वे.
पिक फिट रिमेंबर ब्यूटीफुल. ये भी चाइना की है ना?
हाँ चाइना की.
Pushed.
अबे चाइना की है.
DRS continued their pressure.
फर्स्ट इंटरनेशनल रहेगा. हां बे
तब वो मग देते भाई.
पिक फिट तो ये.
They continue their approach.
रिमेंबर का नहीं पता भाई.
अभी कुछ तो बोलो.
They will
अभी
have
बोलो
to take the
यार.
4
माइक ऑफ करके क्या
भारी लाइनअप है.
हमारा आवाज सुन रही है स्ट्रीम पे.
ahead of the curve on that western
भाई
side.
फ्रोजन पहली बार खेल रहा है लगता है मेरे को.
फ्रोजन.
फ्रोजन तो खेल
Good
चुका
smokes here from 4am.
नहीं ऐसे इसमें फाइनल में किंग को.
नहीं खेला है.
Stalwart in a similar position, but they haven't come to play around with. 4am were forced to take
उल्टा
all the
फ्रोजन के साथ उन लोग
vehicles
ना
out of the mix,
ज्यादा अच्छा खेले
out of the
लास्ट में.
picture,
वो जो 100
prevent
पॉइंट्स
being
लेके
exploded.
हाँ.
Stalwart just
Frozen
had
के साथ ही निकाला.
insane oversight over 4am since the beginning. But again, they're looking for a
अरे क्या मारा भाई. अबे एसटी को दो नॉक हुए.
Second knock as well going over towards Stalwart from Svan. Really nicely done. Now DRS are going to try and mount this assault.
अबे क्या कर रहे हैं.
Position, but it is not going their
गोली
way.
नहीं खेल रहे.
Remember, will be the last player standing.
भाई नोवा क्या कमबैक करती है भाई ऐसे. पूरा आप देख 4 मैन बचा के थर्ड पार्टी.
हाँ ना.
Rules gets healed on up. They spot the player down in the ditch, but he goes for the
अभी भी मरेगा.
and it's the Wolves to stay alive
भारी
with
सीन
one.
भाई.
great stuff there from the
वो
Wolves.
भाग गया.
Fortunately, just one player remaining in Nova. Currently a 3 elimination.
Nova
Looking to
इधर
take
मेरा
this
पूरा
all the
patience
way.
दिखा
Span hits the deck.
हाँ वो
का
ऊपर.
भी एक बच गया.
हाँ एक ही बचा ऊपर. दो है.
दो बचे.
हाँ दो है.
और उसके सामने ही भाई एसटी है.
अबे देख.
अबे नॉक है भाई. लास्ट बंदा है.
Stalwart.
भाई मार दिया.
अरे ओ अरे पीछे से मर गया बे. भाई नोवा का चिकन दिख रहा है जैसे खेल रही है.
नोवा का चिकन ही है.
नोवा का चिकन ही है.
कम बैक ब्रो कम बैक.
ये इनको वाले भी निकाल सकते हैं पता है अगर ढंग से खेले.
अबे इनको भी 4 महीने होता है.
हाँ
इनको तो पूरा पोजी पॉइंट पे खेल रही ना. ब्राजील की सारी टीम्स पोजी पाए पे खेल रही.
पोजी पाए
पोजी पे खेल रही है यार.
इसके लिए डॉगी मार्केटिंग होती है.
हाँ पोजी पाए दिखते हैं उसको सीधा.
Been chilling so
Sorry.
hard right now on this western side. Everybody else has been fighting over the coastal areas.
नोवा देख ना
You know, with the amount of players they have, the position they're holding,
मेरे था ना इधर.
it's very
मैं आके चुनते
likely
जा रहे
they
एक को
could
मारने.
pick up a second inning
मेरे
here.
आगे जाके नॉक फिनिश
In Inco fashion,
खेलने
a
मिला
big
इसको.
win at the start of the day to see them nice and healthy throughout the round.
अबे अभी 9 जोन आएगा भाई. अभी 9 जोन में मजा आएगा.
Game for them. That'll see them on a much better average coming into the next game.
भी हाई ग्राउंड से.
But Inco,
भाई ये बंदा गाड़ी लेके भाग गया और देख बच गया. देख हंस रहा है वो.
Not only that, Nova looking to have this resurgence. We've talked about their capability to do so. We are starting to see that now, Blank.
Fumble title में लिख लो PMGC watch party.
Down towards Inco.
अरे यार
They
क्या
are down the
दिक्कत
hill.
क्या है तुमको हर चीज में?
Nova would love to get rid of this last member from Wolves.
And with chicken.
इनको ने निकाल लिया ना भाई.
Lead आ जाएगा.
Very good at the moment. Inco on the other hand.
भाई इनको वाले तो बहुत खतरनाक खेल रहे हैं लीग में पता है
वो
लीग वाले
शायद इससे भी अच्छी हाइजीनिक चाहिए नेक्स्ट टूर्नामेंट यस बिल्कुल मिलेगी भाई बिल्कुल मिलेगी
Remember, last player from the Wolves team that was holding on the south edge, an entrant into the final circle.
अब इन्हें एंड में देखना जो साउंड ट्रैक दिया बहुत सही दिया ना एकदम एंड पे
Parties to this fight.
भाई लोग 3 किल है
Nova more worried about Remember's position and the smoke start to line up.
धीरे-धीरे भाई
देखो घुसते को इसे चारों एक साथ उन्हें लफड़ा बनते एक ही
right now. These smokes are going to play well.
अभी 4v4 है प्रॉपर 4v4 है अब चल
सब उठ गए थे
playing for Team Edward.
Oh, gonna get knocked. That's terrible.
पैराबॉय मारेगा भी जाके मारेगा चल
Over the top, Paraboy looking to play on
इसका
the
जो
left
गाली खाने वाला है ना
Can he light them up when he needs to? Squash.
ऑर्डर है भाई
The numbers back in the favor of Nova as they can.
भाई पैराबॉय
भी एक को देगा अभी
दिखा कौन है
पैराबॉय स्पॉट हो गए
और चैंपियनशिप का एमवीपी बता
पैराबॉय गया
पैराबॉय को ही दे दिया
Jimmy and Order now, 2 players to go.
अरे ऑर्डर है भाई ऑर्डर क्या खेलता है भाई
ओरे भाई 1v4 बे इसका
अभी क्या किया अभी क्या कर दिया ओ भाई
ये तो
भाई ये तो अबे ऑर्डर ने ज्यादा ही पीक दे दिया पता है उसका जोन टच होने आ रहा था उसपे पता है होल्ड करता ना हो जाता भाई ये वापस से पीट डाउन करेगा
अबे उधर से भी आई गेस 1v3 या 1v4 हुआ है पता है
हाँ ऑर्डर ही तुम्हारा
नहीं ऑर्डर तो ठीक है इनके तरफ से इनको की तरफ से
हाँ वो बंदा ही मारा जो पैराबॉय को नॉक दिया ना उसने सबको नॉक दिया पहले फ्रोजन को दिया क्या मारा भाई
He is just too slick with it. Wow.
What the fuck
I did
is
not even expect them to be able to take that one. I thought, oh,
Hello Siddharth bro.
Then they know exactly where you are. It's going to be all curtains for you. You've got Order to deal with, but you know what? There's a reason that Inco are towards the
It was a great swing around. I mean, Nenebete played that one out perfectly. Vitali, look man, he did the work yesterday, and Nenebete kind of felt out of control. And this time around, Nenebete's like, look, this is the reason we got into PMGC in the first place, and that's me. So,
भाई आज के दिन में मेरे को लग रहा है नोवा ऐसे धीरे-धीरे टॉप 3 तक आ जाएंगे जैसा खेल रही है
honestly, seeing yesterday, the 3 other players all
stepping
up on form to get them to where they were, and arguably not having their strongest player.
अबे एसटी ने मारना चाहिए था वो पोजी लेके
This is now truly
मार सकते थे वो
4am को दे देती ना फिर भी
हाँ
is what you love to see as well at the PMGC, right? I'm really happy that we've seen what we did in those final moments of the game, right? Because it's so good to see teams playing into the storylines that we've been talking about, really.
For sure. And I think that Inco, again, it's this weird meta that they're now setting is, which is a case of like, we're going to drop here, but it's not necessarily where we're going to loot from now. We're going to pick a better spot within the circle, being able to just weather things out. They're a very resilient team at the end of the day. Yes, they don't have a lot of health towards the end there. They don't have a lot of meds, but they make do with what they can. And it's that first initial knock that is so important because they really do light things off massively.
आपको भी पता है
big fireworks.
Wolf is SMG.
In those final
पता है भाई पता है.
And I don't think the Nova was ready for that. And by the time that they
order solo carry कर रहा था इनमें को.
Full panic mode towards the end there. Damage.
Device कौन सा उनका Xperia ही वाला होगा.
जो
phone sponsor है वही होगा.
It just wasn't enough versus that team.
And Jimmy's health bar being as low as it was towards the end there as well made it very tricky. I mean, let's not forget, in those final moments,
ST Inco का collab है.
1v2 and won it out against those Inco backline.
I mean, it's just
Xperia पे खेल रहे भाई Xperia
पे. Gorgeous stuff. It's not the team I really thought 2 months ago would be here right at the top, man. But they are. Seven's laughing. He's happy about it. This is a team I can get behind.
But this is the question, right? You've talked about how Inco can start off a day very well, kind of taper off. We saw that they stayed consistent yesterday. Do you think they're going to be
I don't think it was consistency yesterday, honestly. I think that it was a case of a couple of good games and then some decent games in the middle. And I think that's what we're going to see today. I expect there to be another big Inco game coming up, and then it might die down a little bit.
Inco का strategy पहले fight engage नहीं करती, final zone पे kills and PP.
See what they have to say.
Yes. अभी तो पता है ये महीने से 10 पॉइंट हो जाएंगे बस चिकन के ये साल से.
What an absolute massive turnaround coming in from Inco against Nova in these last seconds.
Next match कब होगा? अभी 10 मिनट
Guys, just give me your first impressions because that was one hell of a game from start to finish.
Well, I think we have one thing to say about Inco.
They're
a gorgeous team. Yeah, it's pretty
Absolutely
gorgeous,
gorgeous.
not gonna lie.
They really are. Starting off, maybe let's keep that Inco discussion for a second. Geek Fam, that was something that impressed you a lot throughout that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed how aggressive they were, and I enjoyed that they took the fight to IMC.
मेरा sound नहीं आ रहा है.
Working out, it didn't end up working out for them in regards to a rotation, but just the aggressiveness that they were able to showcase, that's good to see, and now they just need to be able to find that switch. We always talk about it, Max. They need to be able to switch that on and switch that off and make sure they put themselves in great positions, because that was the downside there.
Yeah, because exactly. I was about
That's
to say,
pretty that's pretty much.
You're just pitch, you have a team in front of you, you're not in circle, you have 4am behind you, especially Svan. Not really the most comfortable position in any game to be in, right? But I do think that they looked a lot more aggressive. It looked a lot more in line with what we saw from Geek Fam in the league stage. And once again, they had, what was it, a 61-point lead in the league stage in their group. Really, they just completely obliterated the competition at that stage. Didn't quite show up yesterday. It showed up in that first game. Sure didn't get himself as many placement points as they wanted, but it's a good way to kick off day 2.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Going over.
Increase game sound. Game sound.
About Nova itself, because I thought that was a
क्या हालचाल Shadowog मस्त.
They were playing it really passive, keeping core alive, almost until phase 7. Was that something you expected coming into today? That
क्या करोगे भाई mod का इतने सारे तो mod है
I
भाई.
would say if you're one of the few teams doing the south, you had
बहुत mod है भाई अभी क्या ही करोगे mod.
Okay, I put a list. All the teams doing north. You had Stalwart, 4am, T2K, IAC, S2G, INF. Buriram, but these are all the teams north. They had no space to work with. You had, what was it, 3-4 teams south. Chill game for them, not gonna lie, and I think they had, what, 4 limbs towards the end of that game before taking that final fight versus Inco. It's still a good Nova game, but I think they didn't really put them to the test as much as the teams north.
What I enjoyed about that game, though, from Nova is that, yeah, it might have been a chill game, but they put themselves in a position where they could actually push there towards the end. I mean, they were able to, if it wasn't for Nenebete clutching that at the end, that was absolutely wow. We'll get a chance to talk about that later. But overall, I mean, we were kind of expecting it, right? We were hoping it would happen. We both had Nova in our teams to watch, and this is the Nova on day 2. They had a chance to go back and see what they did wrong yesterday. I hope a lot of teams are ready because Nova is about to show up in
price pool क्या है $4 million.
One player that stood out specifically was Order. He had 3 frags before anyone else pretty much got a shot off. Talk to me about it. Order throughout the whole game and then the last clutch situation as well. What a player!
I mean, with games like that, like Order could very clearly be the back-to-back MVP of the grand finals of last year. Could be making it happen here once again. Like he had such a good angle. Really hard to take down. But the fact that Inco were able to actually turn that fight in their favor, it came down initially to that first nade. They created a little bit of a man advantage.
Order godlike में आया तो क्या होगा रे? क्या होगा मतलब?
That is your game.
कैसा आएगा वो godlike बताओ?
We didn't see him too much yesterday. It was Vitali. Now you have 2 top fraggers for the team. Inco, they're not going to slow down.
We didn't see him much, but hey, as long as it shows up today, that's all that matters. Inco Gaming there with 21 points. What I'm surprised though, we're talking about yesterday being Brazil's day. Today might be China's day. You can see 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are all from the PEL. 4 Angry Men with 18 points, Nova with 16 points, and Wolf Esports. I mean, this is teams that we were talking about. They definitely
कब चालू अभी 10 मिनट
for a reason. 4 Angry Men with 10 eliminations. They're continuing to show that they can definitely frag out Max.
I'm super happy to see it happen, right? I was not going to lie, I mean, even though Brazil still got the chicken dinner, I was like, I hope we'll see other regions and teams
Language
do well.
problem.
I'm happy that is in fact the case with this first game.
Bro, ये कहाँ पे हो?
Teams are willing to
कहाँ पे हो रहा है?
make
मलेशिया में हो रहा है ना शायद?
Still at the bottom, you've got a few teams like, you know, hopefully Alpha 7. No, I mean, it's just one game.
This is what I was talking about. This is why that was my team to watch, because I was wondering how they were going to be coming out, if they were going to be coming out hot, or if they were going to maintain that lead.
90
and as you can see
points
right there, they are not
wow.
maintaining that lead. Now it's Inco Gaming, and they're actually creating a nice little cushion for themselves. And then you have four angry men.
They finished off yesterday so well, just stepping things up slowly and surely. And the fact that they're now in third position without a single chicken dinner, all the teams above and below them have wins, and they're there without a single one, goes to show how their games from yesterday
भाई ये हमारी टीम रहती है.
the day, how strong this performance was.
उतने placement, उतने kills, ऐसा.
I still have no idea how they survived that fight versus Stalwart. That's just.
Yes,
it should not be allowed.
Not only that, but afterwards they almost got 1v4 again at the Wizard Tower by T2K, I believe. It was
Serious
Sunday,
teams
actually, which was completely mind-blowing how he actually turned their situation around, almost at least. So them sitting really comfortably. Looking at the second page of the overall rankings, GeekFam is leading that one.
Yeah, GeekFam getting himself, as you said already, 7 right. He did, to reiterate the point, looking hyper-aggressive in this first game. And right now, once again, these grand finals are very short tournaments. If you're in the middle of the rankings, at this point, you still have a very big shot to rank up super high at the end of the event.
You're about to hate me. You know which team I'm going to be looking at specifically?
Don't do it. Don't say it. Don't say it. 7.
Godlike Star Wars, because,
man,
they had a chance to take on 4 Angry Men, as you were saying there, Felix, but they just didn't go for it.
STR comeback हुआ क्या?
Yes. We're going to end up fighting them anyways. It wasn't because the circle was on them, Max. I just didn't like that play out of them.
Unfortunately, as much as I want to support Godlike Star
say
Wars, it was a bad play. They had a strong compound. They had all the information in their world because they had the highest position in that entire circle. They have action on the rooftops, literally almost impossible to move him away from that position in nade range. And they're just like, let's just allow the entirety of 4AM to survive. The thing is, in a position like that, 2 teams.
थोड़ा सा बंद करते भाई, कान दर्द कर रहे मेरा भी थोड़ा, बहुत खेल लिया. लीग में लास्ट डे टॉप 11 आए थे, इनको लीग में अच्छा आज जस्ट टॉप 5 आना चाहिए. हाँ भाई बिल्कुल टॉप 5 तो आना ही चाहिए भाई. क्या सीन भाई, मोमेंटम चाहिए भाई उनको मारने वाला, मोमेंटम नहीं मिल रहा है. मिलेगा भाई थोड़ा, कभी कभी भाई फाइनल्स में जब मोमेंटम खराब होता है ना भाई, मोमेंटम आने के लिए बहुत टाइम लगता है. ऑर्डर डिवाइस प्रॉब्लम क्या है? क्या हुआ ऑर्डर के डिवाइस को? व्हाट हैपेंड भाई, व्हाट हैपेंड? बताओ मेरे को भी बताओ, कहाँ से तुमको इतना सब कुछ लीक्स मिलते हैं?
I think we can expect hopefully some good things in today and also hopefully tomorrow's matches.
बाबा कैसा है, मस्त है, तुम कैसा है?
I can see why you're picking them, and I'm actually picking Inco Gaming, and it's not just because they're gorgeous, okay? It's not just because they are a gorgeous team. It's because now they are in first place, right? Are they going to be able to do what Alpha 7 wasn't able to do in that first game? Are they going to be able to actually maintain that lead? We'll have to wait and see, and I'm picking 4 Angry Men and Nova because, I mean, it's looking like it might be a China day instead of a Brazil day.
Gorgeous region.
Yes, it is.
Talking about Nova maybe a little bit more specifically, I said that they it kind of felt like that to me. They were a little bit more passive at the start. Do you think we're going to see that throughout all the games today? That maybe want to stick as 4 and make sure they get into late game?
I have the impression that what we were seeing from Nova a lot yesterday, and I think we were in agreement on that 7, is that they struggled to get in circle a lot of the times, at least efficiently. This game, I mean, as we said, not really a lot of action happening south, and that's a good thing because they read the circle and the teams how they were going to rotate extremely well. Like, we're just going to find the easiest entry point and actually get ourselves in circle because that's where Nova shine the most.
Hi,
Prajwal,
control
of their position. When they're pushing, 50-50 chance they'll come out on top, but when they're controlling that position, it's so much harder to move them out of that spot. So if they have rotations like this throughout all of today, I could see that comeback happening right now.
And something with Nova, I mean, it comes down to, are they going to be losing some of their players early on in the match? We saw that happen yesterday, and it was definitely
them.
It was actually an issue that was happening with that.
Rizzy shout out to you,
bhai. We're able to make sure, like, you guys
bhai, दे दूंगा spam मत करो guys.
Button in a bit.
Spam मत करो
A bit tough, man.
एक बार लिखो बस
I know that you were quite yeah, you were liking them in the last game, especially because they were under so much pressure. Is there something that sticks out to you about 4M just in general? Because that is what it looks like to me. They perform really well under pressure in terms of fighting scenarios. They rarely ever really choke. You know that. You know it's a bad word, but they rarely choke in fights. Is what I feel like.
We picked them because they're gorgeous. Too many times on that one, but played that position north really well. They were third-partying fights in particular really efficiently. GeekFam, I mean, you brought them up as a team that was looking super aggressive. They were taking fight after fight after fight. When you're taking fights, that opens up opportunities for other teams around you, and that's what 4AM are so good at. They're super opportunistic as a team. They see an opportunity to go for a fight, create more space. They're going to take that fight, and that's why I enjoyed this start of the game. Still, as we said, I do think Star Wars should have taken them down.
Yes.
अरे शाडो भाई ज़्यादा स्पैम करने से क्या था कुछ नहीं भाई बस स्पैम करो ऐसा देख रहा हूँ मैं एक इतना करूँगा तो दूसरे के मैसेज सोविन प्लेस क्या हाल मेरी जान मस्त है तुम बताओ भाई सोविन भाई कैसे हो
because they were getting naded by a guy like Star Wars. They were just so confused.
2 मिनट में मैच चालू हो रहा है मैं 2 मिनट में आया
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, bhai.
One more team that you just touched on, which is called like Starwood, and I feel like they're in a really weird spot now, where it's just make or break.
I would say they're in a bad spot all that right now if you're looking at the rankings, but yeah, I don't really know where to put it. This does not feel like the stalwart that I used to see. I don't know if you're in agreement on that one, Seven, but really, like, the team just looking confident, willing to take these fights, like, no hesitation in their eyes when an opportunity arises in front of them, and right now it's just not happening too much right now. But look at that, I'm seeing some Paraboy signs in over there. So I can't. Oh, say I can't quite. I was about to say I can't read, but I can read, but not the sign.
let me put on my glasses. Oh wait, it's gone. But what I was gonna say there with God like Star Wars. Yeah.
Oh, there's an order sign as well. There's an order sign.
Order.
Yes. I gotta go down
that one with the glasses.
Give out some hugs.
What I was gonna say there for a guy like Star Wars is I'm kind of getting flashbacks of last PMGC. There was a team that was just kind of hyped up a lot. And it's just nothing happened, Max. I'm starting to get flashbacks. I don't want to say it, but it might happen again.
Seven, you continue like that, I'm going to demote you to 6. Okay, just you just keep on going that way, man.
At least 6.9.
Nice. Okay, very cool.
Wow. Maybe coming back to a team that we have on camera right now, which is Alter Ego, the home ground team. They have so much support today. It is absolutely unreal. What are your expectations? Can they come out of that slump they have?
They're less.
Wait, bro, the thing is, with the amount of games you still have, 100%, they can still make it happen. They can still climb back up. The thing is, it's going to start looking scary at the end of today if they're still.
But stream is suspended.
There's still a lot of hope available. But seeing how dominant the teams at the top currently are, you can't just be consistent now. You need to get those big explosive matches if you want to initiate that big comeback for Ultimate.
क्या हुआ?
I'm so glad.
stream is suspended.
Suspend कर दिया?
Bro.
मतलब?
That they had a chance, but I agree with you. If they want to make a change,
क्या YouTube से?
Now, yeah, you are in your home country. Yeah, you are in your hometown. You have the fans behind you, but all of that is not going to matter if you are just not able to perform. If you're just not able to put up plays. I mean, we have seen
किस पे stream कर रहा था तू?
2 plays that stand out to me in my head out of that team. After all the matches that after the 7 matches that we have played, that's just not going to be able to cut it. Not even going to be able to cut it for a top 10. and definitely not going to be able to cut it for top 5. And I'm not even going to say top 1 because that's out of reach right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, it's very similar to other teams. Like, we lose some players pretty early. We want to try and avoid that. Like, when they take fights, they look really confident, but I feel like it's all they're just too passive or they're over-aggressive. Like, if we find that middle spot where they take fights that make sense, that would be the alter ego I want to see.
Talking about too aggressive, there was a situation yesterday that you were...
S2G remake?
Don't
yeah?
even.
It's your choice to talk about it, but they were at somewhere near Volcano, and
अबे
there was a team
वापस से rematch हो रहा है?
pushed out of the circle almost.
Yeah, the circle finished was near Yanai Polyana Field, like, down to the southern western
Chat
side.
देख.
And they took a fight versus Nova, and that was like a perfect fight that makes sense. They were aggressive on a position that just
was really
going to
played
give
out
them
as
so
well.
much to them. Exactly, and they won it. The crowd went wild, as you would expect. Fantastic. That's a fight that's strong. Then the team third parties.
Internet problem हो रहा है क्या bro इधर?
Pushing that team towards them, and yet they actively push
Huh?
out of their comfort zone for a fight that is going to come their way eventually. They don't have to chase it down, and they push it one by one. That is when they're taking a fight that's over-aggressive and doesn't really make too much sense.
भाई अब तो बहुत लेट हो गया है पर पर पता है नियो पीएल में ना एक बारी 8 टीम्स बची थी और रीस्टार्ट कर दिया.
Going from last to first. Now we haven't really talked about Inco that much, Seven, but give me your expectation for this day in general. Is there a possibility they will be in first place after
नियो गया.
being played?
नियो लाइव ऑफ हां.
With Inco Gaming, I'm honestly not sure. If it was Alpha 7,
Sad हो गया भाई
I
नियो
could
के
see Alpha
साथ.
7 definitely being there at the top. I feel like I'm just not convinced with the inconsistency that I saw out of Inco Gaming. I think Blank was able to point it out perfect for us that it was, I mean, they had 2 great games at the start, and then in the middle they kind of just disappeared. And then at the end, they kind of showed up again. Inco Gaming cannot do that. That's not even a consistency that they want to have here if they want to be able to maintain that first place. And going from Inco Gaming and other teams that I personally want to talk about is going to be Fireflux Esports and S2G. This was a team that we're kind of wondering what are they going to be able to do here, right? With the announcement of Pmgc 2023 Grand Finals in Turkey. I want to see more out of these teams right now. I mean, they started off the day with what, a 15th place finish for S2G with only.
तो आएगा ही.
Stream off.
That's not gonna be able to cut it, and then you got Fireflux only being able to get 2 points.
तो सीधा copyright लगा.
Hey, okay, it's China Day today, Turkey Day tomorrow. No, they've cleared. It's a.
क्या बात कर रहा है? तेरे को कौन बोला गाने बजाने?
Okay, I'm still scared of the castles.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me put that into context. The reason why Max is
कितने copyright लग गए?
because the Turkey casters are right now.
Okay, it's gonna be coming my way eventually, but they could pop off. We mentioned it. We had
Big
some
Boss का
big
जैसा लगा.
critics about the criticism.
सिद्धू मूसे वाले का तो मैं डेली बजाता हूँ.
Fireflux, they get one big
Boss
pop
का
up
आएगा
and that's
मैंने
a lot of their
official
points. Then they kind of like fizzle out for the following matches. And then you have S2G, or you get eliminations, or you get placement points. We need to find that middle ground. Those are the 2 things we need to see from.
अबे मैं भाई 2 मिनट गया था. कहाँ से सीन देखना था मेरे को live.
Especially the ones that are currently, I'm gonna say, between 3rd and 5th, right? We saw Inco Gaming giving away yesterday with being in 2nd place because the teams that are
Shadow, I love you. Thank you, bye.
I feel like
Love you too, bye.
the teams that are actually trying to catch up to 2nd place and 1st place will be
मूसे वाला ने heaven से copyright strike दे दिया नहीं होगा. हाँ भाई हो सकता है.
for Angry Man. They need to find consistency. They cannot have this off and on games.
IPL हो गया. वो एकदम ही एक्सक्लूसिव है. उसको तुम कोई भी और चैनल पे नहीं. तुम उसको रूटर पे चलाओगे ना. रूटर पे आ जाएगा फाइन. वो भी ऐसा वैसा नहीं. करोड़ों का. वो एकदम एक्सक्लूसिव है.
करा भाई गाइस उसने स्टार्ट किया.
और उसमें बिग बॉस एकदम एक्सक्लूसिव कर दिया.
I love you भाई. अरे भाई love you too भाई.
बोलने वाला तुम मेरे को वोट का वॉच पार्टी करो मादर को.
ऑर्डर डिवाइस प्रॉब्लम PUBG पीस पर स्टोरी डाली है. ओके. डोना कौन सा प्लेयर है?
नहीं तो भाई सैंटा बन के लिए रशियन गिफ्ट कर दूं. भाई ईश्वर गंदे बातें यार.
क्लच गॉड क्यों नहीं लाइव वॉच पार्टी कर रहा है? रूटर पे कर रहा है. ये तो जिंदा है ना? कि हो गया तेरा लाइट वाइट का?
क्या हुआ?
तेरा लाइव जिंदा है ना?
क्या बोल रहा है?
तेरा लाइव जिंदा है ना?
हाँ मेरा ही है.
तू बोला ना लाइट वाइट चली गई थी इसलिए पूछा.
आ गई.
भाई मेरा नेट या जस्ट आया बोलो. अबे वो देखा क्या ऑर्डर का वो गया था गेम क्रैश हुआ था.
बोले कोई स्टोरी डाला ना PUBG बीच पे.
हाँ मैं ऐसे इंस्टाग्राम स्क्रॉल कर रहा था मेरे को वो दिखा. कोई PUBG पीस ऐसा कुछ नाम है उसने डाला है.
Or not? Maybe we're staying right here.
With a recap.
It's coming right now. Ooh, oh, that is just a lovely graphic.
और इधर एसयूजी का भी कुछ हुआ है भाई, रीमेक चल रहा है एसयूजी के लिए चैट पे।
रीमैच होगा क्या? मेरे को नहीं लग रहा रीमैच होगा
भाई। अभी पूरा गेम खत्म होने के बाद कभी रीमैच नहीं होता।
वही कुछ पॉइंट्स वगैरह का हो जाएगा ऐसा थोड़ा बहुत, क्यों नहीं होगा?
वो भी हो।
They tend to be on these eastern circles to always go for the instant rotation northern side of the river because you have like maybe 2-3 teams, so the chances of you clashing in another team at that stage is very, very slim.
You're wrong, lad.
Fun. And in some ways, we see a lot of these teams trying to just center up because we know this terrain 7. You don't have an insane amount of good position.
420 आया।
It's like, oh my god, this is horrible.
Yeah.
North is going to be hell.
By the way, look at the 2-2 splits there from Nova.
Yes, they always do it.
They do.
ये अपने वाले 420 है क्या? मूव करो।
रुक जा, देख रहे
Perfect for them for that circle. And right here, I mean, it ended up working out perfect.
एक बार मूव करके पूछना।
हाँ वही है।
And I feel like this is what Nova, bread and butter.
वही है, ले ले।
Being able to use
ऐसे बच्चे हैं।
2-2 splits that they end up doing, putting themselves in a great situation, and then at the right moment, actually getting together and putting.
Shut up, bro.
Exactly, because that's what these
I would love you IGL to watch you IGL in PMGC। भाई मेरे को भी मजा आएगा भाई।
they saw this like, okay, we're going to really two players further south, go for the wide rotate, and as we said, avoid all of the madness up north. That is what enabled them to make it so far in the game until once again nearly bit it, but it's still far enough and a really strong game.
See, and this is what I'm saying for Angry Man. It would have been a completely different story if that T2K player didn't show up. All right, yeah, they have to rotate, but I mean, if they would have been able.
लॉल का ले विशाल रूटर पे आराम से करो। हाँ भाई आराम से करो, टेंशन मत लो
भाई। वैसा कर देंगे नोवा तो सीधा कमबैक हो जाएगा ब्रो। लास्ट डे वाला #2 #1
I'm just gonna keep doing it until
Keep it above my head, aren't you? Yeah.
until they start performing.
Yeah, not too cool. But at the end of the day, GG split from Nova worked pretty good. Didn't really capitalize on it too much yesterday, but they keep doing it, and I feel like the execution on that split, in particular this game, enabled them to make it in the late game. Just like it was a brute to make it.
100%. And with that being said, you can hear the crowd getting hyped up because we are going into match number 2. John, Helen, and Blake, take it away.
That's right, we're ready for Miramar, so are the crowd, so is everybody involved. The players have loaded into the lobby, and they're getting ready for the desert.
Absolutely, I think the desert is a very scary place. Big map, Alpha 7 usually was quite good at this one, influenced Kemin. Kind of took up that mantle over in Americas though for quite some time. This is going to be a little bit more of a difficult match. I think that with some of these other teams starting to build up momentum now, build up some actual good games, some good consistency, we might see a very different Miramar to start off our day here.
420 कुछ बोल ही नहीं रहा।
Some of our players are already down there in the booths, repping Brazil. Good to see.
मैं स्टूडियो का क्या हुआ?
Honestly, some of these teams
तूने ले लिया फोन?
they've done very, very well, considering the circumstances,
हाँ?
considering where they've come during this year. Great storylines. I think Inco, almost out of nowhere, a team that a lot of people didn't expect to do this well, have really proven a lot of people wrong, which is great to see. Love to see all the fans here as well in the crowd, trying their best.
but
you got to practice that type of stuff.
data तो रहता ना बस.
I'm some of the talent, some of the
फोन से महंगा
अबे अब से वो कर लिया कर हमेशा iCloud में से
साथ में ना बोलते ही गूगल ड्राइव डाउनलोड मारूंगा भाई लाइव लेसन.
I can't believe you.
ये सिखाने के लिए भगवान ने तेरा फोन गायब किया.
Everything लाला का बैग वो
नया बैग खरीदने के लिए
इज्जत से नहीं रखता था ना, तो हमेशा बोलता
मैं कहा भाई मैंने तो रखा ही नहीं भाई, तुम लोगों ने ही उठा के कहीं रखा था। छोड़ो ना भाई, क्यों बात करना है उसके बारे में?
छोड़ो बे, लाला को दर्द होता है उसके बाद।
टू करो। अबे भेंचो टू करके गार्ड में घुस जाओ उन लोग के अभी। कितना टू करो?
लाला को दर्द होता है बे, वो सब के बारे में बातें करते।
मैंने तो अपना जो भी कुछ घुमा था, पैन कार्ड को छोड़ के अभी बाकी सब कुछ बनवा लिया, वापस से रीसेट हो गया मेरा।
अबे तुम लोग ने मेरा पैन कार्ड और आधार कार्ड ही नहीं लेके आए भाई उधर से।
dropping down.
क्या बात कर रहा है?
हाँ तो भाई बोला भी था मैंने। हाँ तो कमने को भी नया बनाना पड़ेगा।
तो लाला नहीं दिखेगा क्या?
नहीं
भगवान ने
भाई मैं कहाँ से लूंगा भाई, मैं तो ऑलरेडी निकल गया था रिसोर्ट के
भगवान ने
लिए।
तेरे को ये भी बोला किसी के भरोसे मत रहे, खुद का खुद
अभी तो वहीं पे तो था, क्या बोलते हैं अपना मैरियट में।
हाँ तो उधर मेरे को मिले ही नहीं वो।
ये तेरे को दे दे।
मैं तो रूम में ही था, रुका हुआ था, सो रहा था। अरे
No one really looking to challenge them out here just yet. South side fairly solidly occupied, but no real hot drops. Actually, maybe Buradam, the easternmost player, might crash into DRS if too much further on those parachutes. But it looks like they are just going to disengage from that. They don't want to get locked into it too early. Foreigner end on a Valle de Mar split and blank. You think you know circles? Name 3.
This one right here.
अबे ये गाने क्यों बज रहे हैं पीछे पीछे?
अबे ये लोग पता नहीं अलग ही क्या है, गाने चालू कर दिए, एंड जोन में देखो चालू कर दिया।
Sight right there.
अरे अभी भी चल रहा है भाई, इतना इरिटेटिंग है यहीं तो कमेंट्री भी
Pick feet.
बंद करो।
Not quite able to land the winning shots over to T2K legend.
मरिया बेचारा,
Unfortunately.
मरिया
A
बेचारा।
weapon that isn't necessarily meant for this type of range, and you hit a few shots. Legend currently just zigzagging this one out of there. Circle though of the eastern side. Inco of course gravitating towards the centre of it as per usual. Quite good at this one.
मर गया भाई बेचारा।
Excellently well after that last game.
शुरू होते ही खत्म हो गया भाई उसका गेम।
4 AM also very much far out. To our last game, so we kind of expect them to move a little bit early. Look at that, taking down that player from T2K. It gets done and dusted. The Wolves.
Glide करने आया था वे वो गेम में।
Getting a little bit of strength from that last game, a late survival for the solo that remained. Third place for Angry Men as well. Doing quite a lot. Getting a lot of eliminations in that previous game. We saw only Inco get ahead of the 3 Chinese teams. And they were the ones to take the chicken dinner home. So, strong performance really from these squads. 4 Angry Men looking to try and capitalize on that, to try and convert on that, gaining a little bit of momentum. Northern side, Alpha 7 will have to push in through Geek Fam if they want to get central. Inco, typically, as they always are, already very close to that central area.
Influence came in. Team that I mentioned were doing a lot of work here on Miramar during America's PMPLs. See what they have to offer here today. Obviously, down in 4th place now, 57 points. Very good capability though to jump up a little bit, maybe even take 2nd place this game if Alpha 7 aren't able to find their footing, because right now they are slipping just a little bit.
Bye.
The slippery soles on when they really should have come equipped with crampons. Get those spikes dug into the side of these rocky hills. Fortunately, on the northern side at the moment, would like to move further down past here. Only Federals in this location, providing scouting for Influence Kevin. Perhaps in a position to get some loot on board, which would be fantastic for them.
अबे इंडोनेशिया की सिर्फ एक ही टीम है ना?
हाँ एक ही है, वो भी लास्ट चल रही है।
Northern Shore split north and south on those
कौन सा player है
islands.
इसमें?
And I guess they just picked up those vehicles once the circle had popped. They decided that they're going to be moving up past Impala, which is currently empty, for DRS's progression northwards, and they can swing in from the east side near Minas Generalis.
Short here, buzz cut.
Stylish.
Look at this tournament as a whole so far. We've had some very interesting ups and downs from teams, and also just looking at the leaderboard.
भाई वो भी लास्ट चल रही है भाई इंडोनेशिया की टीम।
49 points. You're looking all the way up towards 4 AM at 61. It's a 12-point difference right now between third and 11th, which is really not a lot whatsoever. Semi-decent game, to be honest. That's all you need.
इंडोनेशिया में हो रहा है ना टूर्नामेंट?
Invite.
हाँ।
Towards the top इंडिया में कराओ बे। Right now.
इंडिया में तो इंटरनेट इशू से पागल हो जाएंगे बे। अबे तो इधर लौड़े इधर सीधा वो डालते रहेंगे वायर। अपने इंडिया में थोड़ी ना वायरल होते हैं अभी हुआ है वायरल भाई
rivaling that point scoring of 78 after this game. It's for A7 a lot of
भाई 4M मेरे को लग रहा है कमबैक कर सकती है अच्छा अगर कंसिस्टेंट खेल के रही तो
more than that Inco now 12 points ahead.
लैंड वायर फोन से होता है इनका कनेक्ट
हां
अरे भाई
At the top of the table, a clean 90. Will they be the first team to break 100?
देख कैमरा में देख एक ब्लैक वायर कनेक्टेड है
out from those second to fifth positions, or second to seventh positions, essentially, with the three-way tiebreaker.
मैच मेकिंग भी करेंगे ना
On there, the Wolves managed
एक दूसरे में ही होगा
with the Nepalese teams,
लाइन वायर पे कनेक्टेड है
able to keep that one even, but it is still very, very tightly packed on pretty much the entirety of the tables, barring Vampire and Alter Ego.
Thank you godless bro
their mark during this Pmgc, and right now it seems
चोर बढ़ गए हाँ भाई
Nova currently in 10th place.
भाई फ्रोजन नया बंदा खेल रहा है
It's never been so clear a path to success for a lot of these teams right now. Nova has
Shadow में ऑर्डर का गेम कुछ क्रैश हुआ था पता चला
would have been glorious. Further away every single game you pass.
पूरा उस पे ही निकाल रहे थे
Nova though, that last game versus Inco, really not ideal for them. Will dampen the confidence just a little bit.
Potentially. It certainly does have that possibility.
आजू-बाजू वाले लोग भी मारते हैं
Either way, they did manage to get into second place, and it was a phenomenal spray transfer from Nenebete of Inco to be able to take them down. So, in a lot of senses, Sean, the actual result itself in terms of the numbers wasn't super bolstering, but I think that they can take a lot from that game.
मैं और निक्सन वॉशरूम गए थे
They weren't always in the best spot. They did have to move
बसड़ हुआ है
and take them in the right fashion. And I feel like they constantly made the decisions.
Absolutely, I think that where they came from, there was a real chance to actually take down the boys from Inco as well.
अबे सबसे पता है सबसे भारी सीन पता है मैंने 420 को बताया ना तो 420 सबसे हाइपर हो गया मेरे को पता ही नहीं था 420 का फोन भी वो बैग में है मतलब 420 को क्या हो गया पूरा घूम रहा है चक्कर काट रहा है
हर बार में
strategy, Inco's technique.
हाँ
This is what tends to happen is that with these circles, these teams, slow constrictive teams towards that center side.
मैंने तो भी छोटा बैग
becomes
लिया
a lot more valuable. You'll see the teams start to spread out a bit more, and Inco has been really capitalizing off a lot of these teams playing edge for quite some time, in which case the center circle becomes very valuable because it's so free to get into. I think they might struggle because of this. Again, they have so much experience playing center. These teams. But with this, it's no longer free whatsoever. Inco's going to be a little bit worried with the pattern that they take it towards the circle, but it's certainly not going to be an easy central position for them this time around.
I was just keeping an eye on DRS and Buradam on the southeast coast. DRS fairly slow to rotate up from Puerto Paraíso up to Impala, and it's allowed Buradam to actually catch up with them. Now a little bit of conflict potentially on the southeast coast. To peek on over towards Rules. Are in the blue zone now, spotted. Rules takes a little lick of damage there, and that's going to slow things down, make it all the harder. My name P. Not really afford to take killer. Distract early into the buggy, trying to flee the scene, but Rules under pressure still. My name P.
अबे टच होता भाई ये बच गया
Not there in the magazine, and Rules
भाई जिसको मरना था
हाँ वो खा गया ये रिफ्लेक्स
जो बैकअप देने आ गया वो मर गया
1-2 there. My name P. It's funny because that shot over towards Killer was the real.
हो जाएगा रिवाइव कर देगा पर वो लोग अटैक कर देंगे तब तक तो
should have been pretty simple. Even
अभी इसका क्या नाम है बे लेफ्ट वाले का
अबे एक्शन मर गया बे अपना
My name P is not able to finish this one out. Sends up towards that top side.
अरे इसका कर दिया
Massive amounts of damage.
And remember, this is in the blue zone, so you will need to stop and heal. Killer knocks there, and actually they're not even going to go for the... Oh no, he is. Rules is going to stick by his teammate.
Killer वाइटी को पागल बना रहा देख रही कितना पेशेंस है भाई
back to feet. Couple of frags going the way of DRS. Wolves have picked up one. S2G have picked up two.
अबे ये तो बीच में फंसे रे
That'll be against Stalwart. Inco have lost a player as well.
This is always the issue for A7. Is that Influence come in take very similar rotational paths. I think they do it a bit sooner, a bit more slick. For A7 now they have to figure out a different approach inwards.
किधर मरा बे
They could just go for the blasting charge play. try and set that one up outside the doors of
Hey,
Influence
godless नहीं है ना?
and just breach inwards. Not be a bad idea. Fortunately, it's one of those fights that is not easy. Influence came in an A7, both widely known for their team fight capability. Very strong fraggers on board for both these teams.
भाई ऐसे जोन के बाहर रहना मैं फाइनल में बहसना बहुत दगदग होता है.
What I thought would be a big issue. A lot of these teams are realizing
ऐसे जोन के बाहर
always getting away with playing center far too often. So now everyone sends center early on, keeps it chill, keeps it easy. Nova's figured this out too. Now Inco's been shunted out on that northern edge. They're gonna have to move a little bit further.
कल भी इधर ही कहीं पास में जोन बना था भाई मेरा मर गया.
Never was their strongest map in the first place. Usually Erangel is where they shine. Most of their best rotations are there too. If you can get those blast out performances on those maps, yes, they might not be consistent.
अबे भाई ये जोन तो भाई.
See them through.
Noah, bro, Noah. Noah once again, bro.
We will conclude everything.
भाई और मेरे को लग रहा है ये हाई किल गेम देगा उनको.
Where you go down, you had to blast out game, you shot ahead. You don't want to be that position.
और मेरे को लग रहा है एक ना एक बंदा तो छत पे चढ़ेगा भाई सीधा.
अबे क्या हो गया? AFK हो गया क्या?
AFK हो गया नेट दिया उसका. बेचारा ब्रो. शायद हो जाए.
चाइना के साथ ऐसा होएगा तो फिर
third elimination so far in the game with 58 players remaining. They haven't really had too much of a challenge.
I guess device का कुछ सीन हो रहा होगा.
S2G's position in this next circle with 4 angry
device का ही हो रहा होगा. इंटरनेट तो ऐसा नहीं होगा.
They'll want to stretch out.
Yeah, getting that initial knock and flush, make it so much easier. I love the positions they're playing as well. Forward in the buildings, providing that high ground control, high ground control in the back. Watching for these rotations over on the western side. It's really well done.
Noah का comeback story बनते हैं क्या बिहार वाली?
On the western side, A7 currently in coal mine. Pick up some shots
वही है ना उसके अंदर रहता है.
Swinging on past.
डांस करता रहता है.
टॉप 1 2 3 वाले लोग अपना स्ट्रगल करते रहते हैं. नीचे से Noah धीरे फंसता जाती है.
Trying to escape the cage.
Cinderella story.
Okay. मैं तो गया. अरे.
Into the vehicle.
कोई देख ही नहीं रहा इसको.
Has to run on the rims here now near the church. And through the graveyard. We'll have to pray that they don't take too many shots here. Able to hop out and go on the inside there.
अबे भाई इसने
Burns the vehicle, but
गोली भी नहीं मारा भाई इसने उसको.
I know P. Suddenly.
अबे लोग नाम मस्त है.
Midst of the walls here.
Big feet. Beautiful. One me force. अभी आ गया तो one me force मार दे.
Completely going for the bank on the outside. Molotov.
मॉली में जलते हुए मरा है.
Oh, I thought he might have been able to get a knock in
इसके
response
साथ
there.
तो बहुत ही बुरा हुआ है यार.
Fireflux in the meantime, however, could have been lighting up.
कौन बोला था उसको इधर जाने?
पर वैसा क्यों किया बे उसने?
Away, manages to back off behind the ridgeline. Goes for a second peek there, and a sliver of HP catch lines it up as well.
Point table change में फर्स्ट को 10 पॉइंट मिलता है. अच्छा ऐसा.
नहीं ये इवेंट के बाद से. मतलब ये साल इवेंट ये साल वो इम्प्लीमेंट हुआ.
Now held by them. IHC moving around on the
चिकन का 10 पॉइंट.
Near Hacienda del Patron on those hills to the south side of it. They've got Stalwart to deal with further south of them.
Some real cheeky stuff there coming through from Fireflux, trying to pick up those eliminations.
Geek पे भी अच्छी spot है.
Terrible spot to be in on that amount of HP.
अबे geek पे ही कटेगा क्या बे? वेयरहाउस वाला.
भाई वेयरहाउस वाला
भाई अभी नोवा पे इतना पुश आने वाला है ना अगर ये लोग रीपोज ही करना चाहिए.
Grouping up right on the circle now. This is where what you were talking about earlier, John, might come into play. Is thinking about moving.
भाई नोवा को तो बहुत
you can imagine they're ready, waiting for the nades though. Any kind of push coming through from S2G is going to have to be quickly dealt with. A lot of times when you're sending those grenades out as well, it has to be perfectly timed because not for long enough, and S2G's already doorstep. Those nades are going to be all for naught and probably going to cause more chaos than benefit in those types of situations.
Jonathan का है नियो भाई. Jonathan अभी है दुबई में I guess.
Saw them playing off each other very well.
दुबई
An engagement we saw from them last game, but this time around they will be the backstop, not the forward vanguard. Rodrigo on the north side yet to make their turn southward into the next circle. Nova really with a massive position here, controlling a lot of the east side. Really good spot for them.
Zone in mystery.
Group last day #1 in 3 matches history repeat.
Another sound came out from the depths of my lungs.
अबे अपनी एसटी का है ये
भाई
हम
इनको
पे
तो
क्या
बहुत खतरनाक जगह पे बैठी है पता
T2K
नहीं
though on that south side,
कैसे खेली.
trying to make their way
Scene chal raha hai
Nova
be?
has dealt with
Second
it quite
last,
easily.
bhai.
You can see Jane's very low on HP. Vampire Esports move up. 4 players still remaining. No
VP
changes,
भी
as
comeback
Frankie
देगी.
said. Again, 30 points. Still,
भाई
big
कल
game
आखिरी दिन है
would
अभी
set
बस.
them up with a lot of the rest of
अभी
the
इसे
team.
देना पड़ेगा.
कल आखिरी दिन है.
हाँ तो
Lobby at the moment.
Nova Chicken
हो
this
जाएगा.
match
Really
Zian
playing
story.
that
Zian नहीं
badly
खड़ा.
whatsoever. Darius chilling on the eastern side. The east is what they own. They keep it
Nova Chicken
locked down. Nova though at the moment have a really
अरे
strong
भाई.
spot. Towards that center side, Parabolic
पुराने
has the
फोन
top
चोरी हो
bridges.
जाते हैं.
Over
गिव
towards
अवे
the
कर दो.
west,
नहीं
the
ब्रो.
compounds are
Zian
very
direct
prominent here.
venue से लाया हुआ है.
One of the only compounds. Like the difficulty with this one though is it's
Nova
very
का chicken
accessible
है,
to
yes.
many different teams. So when he gets to a
Fine
point
ना
where
कर
this is
देवे
really the
उनको.
only
वही तो
place
fine हो जाएगा
left to go, you're going to see a lot of teams trying to occupy this space, and Nova will have to regroup, recoalesce into one spot, try and focus on one point of attention. Paraboy is just moving backwards and forwards now, trying to gather as much information as possible, prepared for any kind of push from the team.
No one really going to be pushing them from that northern side though. There's a little bit too much open ground for them to try and cover, unless Alter Ego just try and full send straight through the middle of the circle. It's the southwest I think they should be most worried about, with the Wolves and Fireflux both taking occupation up there. The southeast side probably going to be able to hold itself out for one more circle, so until that gets pushed in, it's quite safe.
IHC looking for them to do a little bit more, honestly.
अबे कोरियन तो
Probably one of the teams we see with the
boom
most
होने वाले हैं.
clutch plays.
भाई
And
Nova
talking
ने
about the
chicken
nades have to be
मारा.
timed perfectly for
Nova
him. It looks like
comeback
S2G have their number now.
Silas
अरे
wants to
पता
put
चला
another
SC
one,
नहीं
another
मारा.
cat amongst the
वो
pigeons.
वैसा बोल रहा है.
Kelsey has taken a knock in the meantime, but they will be able to res this as Silas continues
अरे
with
भाई.
bombardment. A re-knock, and 2 players now down. There's a Molotov to follow it up, and Silas is going to roll on forwards. There is a player to deal with. It's good Xiao. He's already taken a lick of damage, and a nade over the top of the rock is not going to find the damage. And Silas has the challenge. An excellent shutdown, and Silas ruins the day. Every man.
Beautiful nade over the top there. The arc is strong. Aims it perfectly. S2G realized they had to punch a hole through into this circle, and that was the excellent time
Nova
to do
Chicken, Nova Chicken. अरे भाई ये सब कौन दे रहा है न्यूज़?
Fantastic stuff there. S2G, that gives them a good chance. Unfortunately, with Kelsey going down in the back, took them a little bit longer to respond than they would have liked. Luckily, Silas is just very, very strong with it
She
there.
closed her eye.
Paraboy on the northwest point of the Nova hold did manage to find a player from Inco, but GeekFam all the way on the north took a long shot with an SLR over towards Paraboy. That's going to force Jimmy to reposition to get that res, and Inco might not be able to capitalize. I think he's still going.
Screen दिखा दिया main वाला Nova का chicken. अच्छा screen दिखा दिया क्या उसने? अच्छी बार अपने को देखने के लिए Nova chicken.
Moved up towards that position that Paraboy was holding, and
पर आ गया बे
so
तो.
I think that's
ऐसे ही
one
मार
of
गई.
the easiest points of ingress towards this side of the compound.
अबे
Try and take the
INF
east side, Paraboy locks it down. Fortunately, that delay there has caused some issues.
भाई थोड़ा और INF के बंदे यार.
Wolves, remember to fire Flux. Pick feet though, still
नहीं,
looking
नहीं
over the
बात तो.
top. Nays going backwards and forwards. Doesn't do very much. Solkai sends ones back of his
ऋषि
own.
भाई तो
Equally as inefficient.
भारी सीन.
Catch launching ordnance, providing cover. The Wolves will have to move parallel to them.
Slam.
IFC crashing into GeekFam. Alex down first. Snipes able to get the flush almost instantly, leaving the numbers at 2 on the inside. IHC with 3 pushing through the building now. Godless trying to hold on these corners. Yol onto the upstairs, and GeekFam don't want to take this disadvantage fight. They're going to regroup, reposition, and fight 4 versus 2. But Micah falls down to Demo as he sneaks away back into the building. The high ground occupied as well, as Yol has a nade to cook. They are launching that ordnance out as you high flanks around the side for GeekFam. Godless falls. And IHC are down to 2 active. Yuhai around the door frame, looks for more damage and he'll find it, but Demo's still active. The ult for the 1-2 punch, but he's got and there is only one player now left standing, as IHC were able to deal with the backline. In the meantime, there is a rock up coming through as well from Godlike Stalwart. Said they wanted to see more from them, and this could be a whole host of points if they can move in at the right time. Damn rude.
Bye.
One or 2 players alive. Zio isolated to the upstairs, and now Godlike Stalwart put a break on the fight. Crazy moments here coming from IHC to hold Geek fam able to
reset हो रही है पर
अपने आप को फोड़ दिया उसने
back up to speed. A huge amount of damage done by him. Stalwart starting to send grenades through. 3 players for them. Excellent pick.
Reset हो गए वे.
Able to take down all 4 of Geek fam, but they are not willing to go for the full engagement here. If they'd have known the true numbers of the fight, they'd have actually just gone for that push, but it's which way it's going. Nobody quite knows, unfortunately. Fireflux were down in the meantime on that south side. Geek fam and Stalwart still standoff now as we hop on over to S2G. This is southwest side of the circle. Wolves further out than S2G. T2K as well at the eastern side. S2G have that way up on the cliff face. Z-Razy looking to try and just launch on over those rocks. Scrambling up the scramble.
Silent.
आ गए एक ही वेयरहाउस में आ गए लोग
eggs and wakey because this is where things are going to start to get a little bit harder.
VP को साथ ही सीधा
halfway point on that next match. Vampire Esports move up.
पीका को पड़ा
3 players left, 13 teams still going. Vampire Esports might have just found themselves a position. This is what I was talking about earlier with Nova having to recoalesce. They take the strong building for themselves, hoping to hold out from there, and this could be another big game for Nova going forward. Influence came in also. It's DRS taking it to Alpha 7.
Mafioso.
Oh, just like that.
Both pulled down. Reduced to mortals.
This
time around, getting rolled down by Geek fam, who have been able to hold out.
ये लोग
जा नहीं पाएंगे
तो नहीं जा पाएंगे.
Troubles, but they have managed to pick up a lot of points now. Blank on that elimination count. 6 eliminations.
नोवा बस बैठी हुई है, वेट कर रही है बस. ये जोन फटाफट टच हुए.
They lost a player earlier on. Now they're fighting on the sides with S2G. 4 players active for them. But Inco on the inside.
अबे ये देख 4 बंदे एक शॉट.
Geek वाला शायद बच जाएगा.
S2G with the performance they've had so far, Inco's going to be a little bit worried, but Geek fam's not done yet.
एक बच गया.
Towards Inco's side, Snipes has to hit the deck, continue to move it around. Doesn't even know where he's being shot from, and now Damn Rude, last remaining member for the team. And it's Alter Ego, in fact, in a pretty decent position, all huddled up in the shack.
अबे ये तो देख घूम रहा है पर
here, but Razy spotted around the side, and the Wolves on the other side of this hydraulic press that is crushing.
Wolves तो 2 टीम से फाइट ले.
Spotted on the ridge line, takes
दोनों दे दिए भाई.
2 players.
अबे जिमी कहाँ से नॉक दिया बे?
Hard place there.
अच्छा ऊपर वाले.
Zinco fall back. They want to keep 3 alive. That's all they've got to play with.
Really smart play there from Squash as well, because he wants to absorb those points coming through from S2G. Unfortunately, it may have just given them time to get these players back on their feet. They will unfortunately lose Calci in the process. Silas, a really good game so far. Silas will use his last grenade to hopefully confirm its elimination over towards Memory. Doesn't do quite enough damage, but should bleed out fairly shortly regardless. Inco playing around this edge, just give them a massive amount of cover. I said earlier, it's probably one of the best places to crash onto this position. Fortunately, still taking damage. I think that might be either from Damrude or Alter Ego.
अभी ये जोन बताएगा अगर
Of course, the knock coming through from
ये जोन बताएगा
भाई थोड़ा सा आगे जाएंगे S2G वाले फ्री किल से भाई इनको
9 eliminations for S2G right now.
अबे तो इनको ही भर रहा है
to line up more shots with the SLR over on
अबे भर रहा है इनको तो सीधा.
That is a lot of damage that can pour through those open doors. Unfortunately, he's a little bit broadside.
एक स्मोक डाल के कर सकते हैं.
To S2G, Nova, if they move a little bit further in.
अबे एक को नॉक फिनिश डाल दिया बे कितना बदकिस्मत होगा
उसके. They won't have to move too
छुप रहा था बेचारा, छुप भी नहीं पाया.
अपने बंदे के पैर के पीछे छुप रहा था तो भी हेड पड़ गई.
Yuhai still on loan as well. You wonder if this might be one of the last chances for Geek Fam, Pmgc to put up a big performance or even look for the grand final title.
मैटो की टीम वो है ना, क्या नाम था उसका? सीक्रेट मार्टिन
वो उसमें नहीं है स्टोन के साथ।
But right now they're going to take what they can get.
अच्छा
अबे मिथ वो तो हाँ
साला इनको अभी भी जिंदा है।
अबे क्या जोन मिला बे नोवा को, इसलिए चिकन है, हाई ग्राउंड है उनको पूरा भी।
अबे मिथ में नहीं है बे, मार्टिन कहीं और है।
4 eliminations though, not a disaster, but not what they needed to try
BL में है ना शायद।
अबे इनको मर गए।
That's really fast there. 12 eliminations on the game now already.
13 S2G तो बहुत किल लेगी भी हो लेगी।
13, unlucky for some, but S2G will absolutely be glad of those points. Hamzy, sure, has been knocked, but that's rezzed very, very swiftly by Ray Z. In the meantime, Influence Kemen going to take the mad dash across the road. Get past that crate and up to the hillside. Vampire on the broad of it. This killer still from DRS is the last player standing. Could prove to be troublesome.
S2G, Silas currently looking like a trash compactor at the moment. He is crushing it right now during this match. Hamzy G assisting with some great shots in the scar as well. A great supportive kit for him. The current damage as well. Look,
भाई नोवा तो पूरा बैठी है वैसे आराम से,
on the damage.
कोई मतलब नहीं है।
ओपन खेलेंगे तो लोग तो मर ही
just barely living the moment. Holding on.
जिगोड किधर है? होगा इधर उधर।
Life support at this point in time. Sucking down the oxygen.
It's not going super well. There's nades from Lil Boy. Stone has one of his own. Did manage to get the heal off, and the stims are going to start to tick up now. So the longer they're in this, the better chance they have. 15 eliminations.
15 मार दे बे।
एक नेट से क्या सीन?
Alter Ego's coming through. Pombit burns them down. 3 players from Influence Kemen. They've taken a knee, and nade's over.
अबे पैराबॉय को पड़ गए। पैराबॉय किल चुरा रहा था।
Nova are also chiming into this as nades tipple over the top. Picking up a couple of those points. 1 player remains, and it's Pondbit for Alter Ego into the vehicle. 2 points for them. Nova picking up the share of his own with 3.
And up to 6.
कल T2 के मारी थी 17 किल या 16 लास्ट मैच में। हाँ लास्ट मैच में
16 मारी सो।
The massive eyes are on over towards S2G with that 15 eliminations. Everyone's
भाई 4 मैन सिर्फ नोवा है, इजी है निकले।
As well, 53 points at the start of this game with 15 on the top of it. You're looking at a big points total, 68 after that, not including points rankings either. So this could be a
अभी T2 के वाले थे कहाँ छुपे बैठे दो, एक पत्थर के पीछे दो।
We're waiting for that standout performance coming through.
भाई सरवाइव तो लोग भी कर ले रहे हैं
कैसे से। Just given and given and given this year.
ओ भाई
Order from the top of the roof. Nova have been so brutal for so long here in this position, but they are now with their backs to the circle and will most likely have to move towards S2G.
नोवा वापस से भारी सिंगर है क्या एक और सेकंड?
But will still truck on. T2K getting picked apart now with S2G. Back up 16. They started this game blank. 37 points behind the leader of Inco.
अबे इसको मार सकते हो T2 के बंदे
भाई आप भी खेलो PMGC से खेल वे लोग।
अबे T2 के वाले बंदे को तो मार सकते हैं भाई, ये लोग देख ही नहीं रहे लोग।
Not gonna have to have one hell of a game, but this is how you do it. S2G with this match have got the potential to take over the top of the table.
Last zone now.
भाई कैमिन वाला बंदा देख कैसे।
Everyone's thinking about this one. Nova
चढ़ गए।
game in a row. They find themselves in a fantastic position.
अबे जेन को कोई मार नहीं रहा है।
वो देखिए नहीं ना उसको, कोई ध्यान ही नहीं दे रहा उसको।
In a way that looks so aggressive. Frozen just stands over the top. There goes T2K. Alter Ego ladder up to 4th place.
7-8 किल चिकन मारा।
A potential to go further. And S2G now start their assault over towards Nova. Down the
आईने पहला ऊपर आकर मारता तो भाई अभी नोवा का गेम खराब हो जाता था बे पूरा।
मार सकता है पता है, अभी मार नहीं रहा, पोजी निकाल रहा है। अपने वेश में होता ना कोई मार देता पता है उठ के।
Buoyed by the crowd, the power of the fans, keeping it alive right now. Nova looking to try and crunch that one out of him. And they are being so cautious here, Blank. 5 eliminations on the game right now. And S2G just little boy from Influence Kevin is still here and he still wants to play. Order falls first.
इधर से ये लोग भी दे दिए देखना अभी
that door is shut. One player falls. The second two to follow. Silas is the last to be put under pressure.
क्या चिकन मारे वे लोग.
From the central position they held strong.
भाई इतना हल्ला हो रहा था देख बैकग्राउंड का नॉइज ही हटा दिया.
इनका जैकेट अच्छा है.
इतना ज्यादा हल्ला हो रहा है भाई.
ये देखो डॉबी को जैकेट की पड़ी है.
अरे मस्त लग रहा है.
correctly there in the right order with the right suit. I don't think that could have gone better for them. They picked a great position. Paraboy played a very, very busy game. Up towards that top side, back down again. He was scouting, never idle. It was a very, very well done match. For S2G, we have to congratulate them. I think everything went topsy-turvy towards the end, though. With shots coming from behind, Alter Ego. I think S2G was completely confused towards those last moments. They had gone through the ringer to get to that point. Unfortunately, Nova was just a little bit too hard of a challenge to tackle.
Kill chori mare mara dada dada.
With a couple more nades, they might have been able to do a little bit more.
अबे वो S2G के बंदे ने 6 बंदे मार दिए थे ना.
Been able to move around the side a little bit more effectively.
बहुत मारा था भाई.
They played it with 3.
भाई.
So much done for S2G.
Absolutely, they did. I think for S2G, they have to completely congratulate your boy Silas. On the other hand of things, Alter Ego, what a way for it. I mean, I mentioned it earlier on, saying that Pompit, this guy is the golden survivor of the team, and he's certainly got a lot done there for himself. Got very, very far into the game and lived that one out. It was not an easy lobby to live that one out in either.
Paraboy brand ambassador of OnePlus.
Pretty much where you get caught out almost 100% of the time. The fact they made it that far, fantastic stuff.
I didn't quite catch actually if S2G went down second or third. I think it was second.
खेलेंगे भाई अपन भी खेलेंगे. आएगा टाइम अपना भी आएगा.
Absolutely, I think anyone here is
really happy
वापस से एक और फर्स्ट अभी.
एक ले लिया तो भी हो गए ना ऊपर आ गए ना ये लोग कमबैक हो
गया. You know what I will say about the audience and the fans here? It is very refreshing to get an audience that is cheering practically everyone on. I mean, even when S2G is doing really well, making some big plays, there's real appreciation
S2G
from
बहुत नहीं डाले हुए.
big plays. It makes me happy, it gets me hyped and hoping that if you guys can hear it in the back.
अबे इनको पता है वो पैसिव नहीं खेलती ना, STG को वाइप कर सकती थी वो. पता नहीं वो लोग आए ही नहीं.
हाँ, दोनों तरफ से वैसे ही सीन था. इनको पैसिव खेल रही थी और S2G भी. थोड़ी देर बाद STG बोली आई है तुम्हारे.
We'll hear them for many more matches to come, Blank.
Nova #4th आ गई अरे भाई.
To be fair, in that circle, it was their game to lose.
4th पे आ गई.
The one test that they had was to push out of that compound, and it was against diminished forces from S2G, from everybody else that surrounded them. Nova were able to take care of business and handle it for a chicken dinner.
Thank you so much, John Allen and Black, and welcome back.
भाई तो भी S2G ज़्यादा point ली पता है 29.
One hell of a storyline we have back in our hands. S2G taking home a win in at least points-wise, a win in a incredibly convincing fashion. But in the end, it was actually Nova that got the chicken dinner. Tell me about it, Max.
I think it's fair to say, Seven, this is the Nova we wanted to see. This is them. They're turning up the heat right now in this second day of play for the grand finals. And I don't think they're going to slow down. They're going to keep the heat going even higher and higher and about to melt the entire arena here.
We've been teasing it. We were talking about it yesterday at the end of the day. We talked about it at the beginning of day 2. Nova on day 2 is an absolutely different animal. I mean, for them to be able to get 24 points, but as you guys mentioned, I mean, S2G, we got to give them some credit. We've been talking about how, yeah, they're able to get elimination. Sometimes they're able to get placement points. This was the perfect marriage for both of them.
साथ मारा भी बंदे.
Silas, he just put on an absolute clinic that nade onto 4am, he eliminated almost the entirety after that with his team of Wolves. If he cleared out Nova, they just cleared all of PEL pretty much. But
today before he goes to sleep, he's definitely going to be looking at that 1v3 versus 4 Angry Men. He's going to be like, oh,
a core memory has been created.
Something incredibly interesting about that game was as well, Kelsey, your star player, kind of star player in that team, he got taken out very early on, and they still managed to pull through almost the entirety of that game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Silas just pretty much like clutched things out a lot of
it was a
big portion of that game. It was a Silas show at the end of the day. But yeah, that's the cool thing, right? If you're still a team that, despite losing a player as valuable as Kelsey, as I say, like I do really like Kelsey. He's one of the top players in the European region. It goes to show how good all of the players currently are on that roster. Even when they're missing one great player, they can still perform and just pop the hell off. Currently with the most the most eliminations in a single match. That's what I was trying to say. Yes.
Before we head into a small break, and afterwards, don't run anywhere. We will have time to discuss that match in detail. But before we go into the break, quick shout out to our sponsors, starting off with Sony and the Xperia 1 Mark IV, that way. And obviously the Xperia Stream that you can see right here, which were co-developed in collaboration with esports players.
बैठा देगा इसको
with Xperia Stream's total cooling system and multiple boards for intense gaming and streaming. Want to thank Prime
Brown jacket.
Gaming. If you haven't checked out Prime Gaming yet, it is time to do so. You will get free games, not only games, but free in-game content also for PUBG Mobile. So make sure to sign up and check that one out. Also, we want to thank the PBESI, which is the local association in Indonesia in terms of esports, they're handling esports, and we want to thank them so much also for their support in terms of, you know, this tournament, this beautiful tournament that we have right here going on in Jakarta, Indonesia. And last but not least, we want to get your eyes peeled on the survey. You may have seen it already if you have been active in the chat. If you haven't, make sure to do so. See survey link on either in the chat, as I've said, or on all the social media platforms. So make sure to check that out. And the best thing about it is, if you do give us feedback and if you do answer that survey, you will get a chance to win some amazing prizes from our sponsors. So thank you all in advance for sharing your feedback via the Pmgc viewer survey. And with that being said, we're heading into a small break, and we're going to do that as fast as we can because we want to get talking about that game. See you in a bit.
थक गया बेचारा बोलते बोलते
बहुत बोला बे उसने
हाँ बहुत बोला वही देख रहा था कमबैक आ रहा है यस
Sunhawk तो भाई ना कुछ
You remind me of the moon, cause every night you're coming back. No, that's up the story. I'm not in love with you.
I am
Why can't I get over you? Why can't I get over you?
यस बोला भाई बोला बोलो भाई बोलो। जॉनी in Abu Dhabi, yes. बच्ची क्या हाल, मस्त हाल भाई। भाई नहीं लाइन आफ्टर रन बैन भाई, कुछ नहीं पता मेरे को तो, कुछ हो जाए तो वही मजा आ जाए। एक सेकंड। Shadowog full नहीं भाई, ignore थोड़ी करो।
Second page here. DR step up. He told me top 5. I kind of gave him a look. I was like, are you sure? And he's like, you know what? Yeah, top 3. Top
Screw
3.
you, 7. We're going to make it 2 games. Yeah.
Are you sure? And he's like, you know what? Yeah, top 3. Top 3.
Screw you, 7.
अबे S2GB second आ गई बे लाला।
They might make it 3 games, to be honest, as we go to the second page here. DRS game, and this team we really haven't seen much. I mean, currently 6 points, and I kind of want to go down a little more. Wolf Esports, I feel like this team could definitely have a great performance, like how Nova has been doing. They could definitely push themselves after the first make.
Exactly, and of course, I think about Ultra Reach at the bottom. Having so far their best game so far. Yeah, right? That was by far their best game. We did say during the match, dodgy rotations.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird the way they rotated things. I think they could be improved upon heavily. I hope they can use this game as a good launching point in the future matches against having good position. I got this card for a reason. It means I believe right now, fight. So I'm going to believe in the homeboys right now.
You believe in them, I believe in you. Match number 9 is going to be Sandhawk, and that is especially interesting.
Sunhawk.
The biggest game yet, points-wise, did come from a Sandhawk game, and that was Day 7, and they do not seem to be performing at all to Day 7.
Yeah, this was the big question mark for me for Alpha 7. Were they going to be able to maintain that first place? This is a team that tends to pop off, but if they start slow, it definitely hinders their performance. It definitely hinders their confidence that they're able to have for players. Now, for this match, though, I'm going to be looking at Influence Champion because they didn't perform that well yesterday when it came to Sandhawk. They ended up, I think it was with a 14th place finish and only 2 eliminations. And that's why I currently have their amazing jacket on. Shout out to their CEO for letting me, for actually giving me this.
Shadow, how are you? I'm
like
good. How are you?
they're trying to
Missing
maintain
Neo
themselves
Savage.
within this
Shadow is
top
but
five.
international
Trying to
trophy
maintain themselves
चाहिए।
within that race. They need to have good
खेलने मिले बस।
इस वाला तो alter ego का support है रे। Alter ego।
This is nice.
Right वाला तो Influence Champion को support करने पड़ेगा।
My homeboys while I'm at it, but I like it. It's cool.
I'm getting jealous as well. You guys, do you have just a whole whole cupboard of merch is what I wanted to say.
I brought my cupboard here with
me.
That's
what I wanted to say. I don't know how you guys made that happen with the flight channel, but either way, let's look at the teams to watch from both of these analysts, from Maxman and 7 Worlds Gaming. S2G, Nova, and Influence Cameron coming in from Maxman.
I picked Silas more specifically, though.
Not an SCG pick Silas.
No, I mean, because we had that question we brought on the pre-show for today, right, Alex? And me and Seven were in agreement on that one. We sometimes for SCG see just eliminations, no placement, or just placements, not eliminations. They got such a good
eliminations
and frag, elimination and frag, same thing. Eliminations and placement points. I want to see that continue. I want to see that flow keep going for these next 4 matches of today. This is the SGG we want to see at their peak.
And I mean, SGG actually ended up in a 4th place finish yesterday in this Sandhawk.
Yeah.
If they're able to maintain that momentum with the amount of eliminations that they just got, if Silas continues to pop off, which I mean, I know you're
भाई बहुत सारे लोग हैं और हल्ला कर रहे हो लोग
making even a bigger push here towards the top. Now you
भाई
see a pattern.
सीधा हल्ला
Fireflux, God likes that work.
कितना पीछे भी
एक
और कमेंट्री चल रही है बे आगे उनके लैंग्वेज में चल रही है
but with Influence Chairman, what I was just talking about, they need to make sure they make something happen here.
अल्लाह करो
सब इतने गौर से देख रहे हैं
especially to take advantage of the Sandhawks. Yesterday it didn't happen. Hopefully today is going to happen. And for Fireflux, I mean, this is a team that got a chicken dinner yesterday and had an impressive chicken dinner. Not just any chicken dinner with like 5 elims. It was over 10 eliminations. We haven't seen them at all today.
I do wonder, something comes up to my mind right now. We know that in the past, Alpha 7 Stalwart used to not share boot camp. He used to fight a little bit over boot camp, right? Stalwart's not been looking in their best shape right now. Alpha 7 is slow today.
Yep.
Seeing how the Sanhok went yesterday, I'm thinking maybe Alpha 7 are going to change the part and try and go back to boot camp.
Neo का वापस stream बंद हो गया.
Which they play really well typically. I don't know.
Copyright लग गया वापस.
Ended up winning yesterday in Sandhawk.
I know, but that's the thing, because they're feeling confident. Maybe like they want to change things up. No, you don't think so? It was a shot in the dark.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I just threw it out there.
Neo फिर गया.
Disagree with that.
बोल रहा हूँ उसको मत बजा सुधरेगा ही नहीं.
They wouldn't do that, especially with how
well
it went for them yesterday. Hopefully this will be.
ओह नियो का stream वापस चलेगा. वापस चलेगा.
नियो देख तेरा चैनल ना धप
हाँ भाई धप हो जाएगा नियो तेरा चैनल पे रोते बैठना. गाने चला रहा था.
Talking about confidence, a team that I just slightly want to touch on is
Neo
because that's a sector
YouTube को router समझता है.
early on.
क्यों?
Absolutely
लाला.
destroyed by Silas. I can imagine that's going to hurt their confidence as well. 4M, none of you guys
अबे बट ऐसे कैसे चला गया?
but I still feel like they're still very
Copyright लगा
much in the
उसको.
running for the title.
वापस.
चलती स्ट्रीम पे
Every single team's got a chance to win.
चलती स्ट्रीम पे
Even Alter Ego, 16th position still.
अबे कैसे भाई?
Way back up there, but look at Nova. Get on smiles.
तू इंग्लिश गाने चलाता है ना?
It's a YouTuber.
10 पे कैसे आता है बे?
It's right now, but as I said, any team can still make it up there. Back-to-back champion.
Yes.
Might want to make room for back-to-back champion.
तीसरी बार में 3 महीना
भाई ओए नियो वैसे तो तेरे ऐसे तो 2 स्ट्रीम हो गए.
फिर 3 महीने बाद मिलेंगे.
अरे भाई मस्त वाइब कर रहा था लौड़ा में.
अबे इसके बाल देख कैसे हो गए एकदम से.
किसके?
सबसे लेफ्ट वाले के
फ्रोजन
के.
हाँ एकदम
फ्रोजन ही लग रहा है भाई वो देखने में.
जिमी बोलता है लौड़ा इधर टेंशन नहीं
भाई,
है. जीतने अपन
भाई लड़कियां पागल हो रखी हैं भाई.
अरे वो क्या कर रही है?
अबे लड़कों जितनी जनता है बे लड़कियों की.
हाँ ना इनकी ना.
पैरा बॉय.
क्राउड ज्यादा है.
भाई तेरे को पता है अपने इंडिया में 1000 लोग आते नहीं कर इनके 500 1000 के बराबर.
क्या बोल रहा है?
बहुत हल्ला करते भाई, बहुत हल्ला करते हैं.
तेरी आवाज जा रही है. वापस चालू कर स्ट्रीम.
नहीं कर रहा, बस हो गया कल भी.
चीनी
नियो को प्राइवेट करने बोलो स्ट्रीम.
प्राइवेट
मैं न्यूडिटी थोड़ी दिखा दिया जो प्राइवेट करूं. अपने आप उड़ गया ऐसे भी स्ट्रीम में.
नियो रूटर पे आजा.
ओ द पैराबॉय.
नियो को रूटर पे भेजता हूँ.
एरोवुल्फ लीमैक्स
अभी भेजता हूँ भाई. हाँ रूटर पे चालू कर देना। वैसे भी क्या कर रहा है? चार 2 ही तो हुए अभी तक।
ऑन करके रख देता हूँ रूटर पे।
आ जाएगा इस रूटर पे, आ रहा है नियो। वहाँ पे वाइप करेगा वो, वहाँ पे नहीं जाएगा उसका।
वहाँ तो डीजे बन जाओ।
वहाँ डीजे बन जाएगा अपना।
नहीं मस्त चला के रखा मैंने।
बेंच बंदे एंजॉय कैसे करेंगे?
नियो चैनल नहीं जाएगा।
चैनल गया बैंड से कह रहे।
बोल रहा है देख ले ना जाए। डेडिकेशन तो है नियो में। एक स्ट्रीम गया, दूसरा स्ट्रीम चालू गया, अब तीसरा स्ट्रीम चालू कर रहे हैं।
डेडिकेशन तो शैडो में जाते ही स्ट्रीम चालू कर दी, एक दिन भी रुक
ना कुछ तो जाते स्ट्रीम ऑन किया लोड़ा।
नहीं बे, एक दिन रुका था मैं, एक दिन सोया पूरा। अबे तेरे को पता है 24 घंटा सोया उस दिन, तो मैं पता है तेरे को नहीं हो।
मैं भी पता आके यहाँ पे 24 घंटा ही सोया
भाई 24 घंटा सोया मैं, एक दिन पूरा स्किप हो गया भाई, एक दिन पूरा स्किप हो गया।
जब टाइम मिल रहा था तब सो रहा था, पता है
स्किप हुआ।
सो रहा
हाँ
था।
सेम अभी तक मैंने भी ऐसे किया, अब आज से सही किया भाई शेड्यूल।
भाई अभी भी सोई, पता है मैं एकदम 12 बजे सो जाता हूँ, सुबह उठ जाता हूँ।
अबे बूट कैंप में लाला आएगा ना, यही पूरा शेड्यूल बिगाड़ेगा रात का।
मैं ही बिगाड़ूंगा भाई। हाँ मैं इधर जल्दी सो जाता हूँ और मैं वहाँ
तू इधर आके बिगाड़ता है।
तुम लोग बिगाड़ते हो।
अबे क्या झूठ बोल रहा है बे लाला।
रात भर शैडो
420
बात कर रहा है बे।
420 कितने बार मैं सोया रहता हूँ लाला के साथ। उठे ना, क्या कर रहा है सो के, क्यों सो रहा है?
हाँ ये तो है, गांड में डंडा करता है
ना। अबे तो भाई उस वक्त उठे रहते हैं भाई।
बस अबे उसको भर दिया बे।
इतना बड़ा चूतिया रहूंगा ना, इतना बड़ा चूतिया।
क्या हो गया?
क्या किया मैंने पता है क्या? मैंने YouTube के जो स्वाइप अप लिंक रहता है ना, तो रूटर का लिंक डाल के बोला YouTube पे आ जाओ।
इसलिए वो हुआ।
ओ भाई
I want to say very confident splits as well. Now that on Sanok isn't always possible, but you still pick them, Max.
नियो अब रूटर में। हाँ भाई नियो ऑफ। हाँ पता चल गया रूटर। थोड़ा खुश हो गए अब ये लोग।
गेम स्टार्ट नहीं करते वैसे तो।
अरे ये क्या कर रहा है देख, लेफ्ट वाला हाथ जोड़ के खड़ा है देख। वो उसके तीनों टीममेट्स को देख रहे हैं। हो गया इसका, जोन आउट हो गया ये, इसको बाद में देखते हैं। क्या बोले, बेंच फेंच कर देंगे क्या उसको अगर ये गेम अच्छा नहीं खेला तो?
हेलो सिद्धार्थ भाई।
I always make this joke during the league stage where normally they have like in the previous system.
हाँ ठीक है भाई, वो स्टोरी डाल दे, लिख रही हो।
I didn't think they'd take a one-day vacation in the final.
भाई बेचारी का बॉयफ्रेंड उसके बाजू है, वो पैराबॉय कर रही है। अबे कितना गोरा है ये।
क्या मैच हो रहा है वो।
अबे अजीब दिखता है भाई इसका थोड़ा शक्ल।
मॉडल है वो उधर का,
वही
चाइना का मॉडल है वो, अन्ना वैसा है हर जगह से।
देख रहे हैं शैडो तुरंत
क्या
अजीब दिखता है बे थोड़ा।
अबे हाँ मतलब देख, थोड़ा बहुत ज्यादा ही वाइट है बे लोग देख, बहुत ज्यादा गोरे। अबे तो देख रहा, वो देख ऑर्डर का देख।
मेरे को तो कुछ बोलना ही नहीं है भाई।
हां भाई
कोई नहीं है कन्वर्सेशन में
भाई, मैं भी एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता हूं इधर, वही डिस्कॉर्ड में।
We've talked about all of these teams now, but we've left out one in specific, and that is in terms of the Brazilian.
BTS from Ohio. हो सकता है BTS।
बड़ा मोटा हो गया पैराबॉय का फेस।
अबे इसने तो पूरे वाइट बाल कर गए। अल्फा 7। अबे ये टीम बता जीत सकती है।
A7
अल्फा 7।
हाँ अच्छा खेल रहे
बहुत भारी।
अबे पर ब्राजील के प्लेयर्स एकदम वाइब में रहते, पूरे भारी दिखते हैं।
अबे वो देख वो बच्चा है बीच में।
हाँ
ये वासु जैसा नहीं लग रहा है?
बड़ा वासु।
ये भाई ये बहुत भारी है भाई यूआई, ये बहुत तगड़ा लगता है मेरे को प्लेयर। अबे इनका मास से विजन नहीं कटता?
नहीं कटता वो।
उनके ऊपर है शायद लगाना नहीं लगाना
जैसा लग रहा है राइट में।
हाँ
haven't seen them next. I know I didn't want to do it, but I mean currently 15 plays, 34 points. They're being able to out of those 34 points, 19 eliminations. I know you got a chance to talk about with Zertani talking about the changes. I even asked you earlier, when would you? By the way, he said just in case for some reason you're just tuning in, Zertani, the coach of Vampires, said that they're not making any changes. Yeah. After 2 matches, you're currently 15th place. You have to make changes. I love your mom too.
अरे
Your mom.
Shadowog
सब क्या जोक मार रहे।
I love your mom बोल रहे।
But it came from a good place, you know. Really good place.
There we have them, the #1 team at the moment. Inco 4.6 average eliminations, especially the damage is something to behold. 1071.
You high global का नहीं हुआ।
Wait, Max. Hold on. You skipped my question. We got too distracted by that awesome sign.
What was the question?
That gorgeous sign. Do you make changes with Vampire Esports?
अबे चालू नहीं हो रहा क्या भाई? बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम लगा रहे हैं।
बहुत टाइम लगा रहे हैं।
Which team has not moved too much? Unfortunately, is Vampire.
क्या हुआ?
Right? You need to because when I was talking about
कास्टर ठरके वही भाई।
the non-existent changes. He said, but
अबे एक तो मेरे को ये INS के ग्रुप में डाल के रखा, मैं लीव कर रहा हूँ भाई, कितना चबर करते हो।
Circle, sure, there's a little bit of luck in play, but to some extent, you also, Seven, create your own luck. And I think the Vampire staying idle, not making those iterations, is just going to keep them in that 15th position. We need to see the Vampire making adaptations like in EFN we saw at PMWI.
भाई चालू ही नहीं करते भाई लोग।
Something else to go out there, but I mean that's his signature move. So looks good. Yeah, in terms of changes, is there any other team that you have spoken to maybe and that we're talking about changes as well? I mean, Vampire said already they're not gonna want to change much. Maybe Alter Ego in terms of changes. Is there something you?
Neo का है, Neo router चालू कर रहा हूँ।
One piece of advice. I know you were wearing the scarf already. There's one piece of advice you could give them. What would it be?
Oh, piece of advice I would say, scouting. The way they scout. Yeah, because we had in the previous game on Miramar, weirdest scout possible. You have 2 players in really good position for scouting, and you would have 2 players far behind them, serving no purpose, unfortunately. I would want to see the scouting having
अबे सो गया वो बंदा तो।
where they can actually get strong information and then actually get in those positions relatively quickly. That speed things up a little bit quicker.
You're saying far behind them. You also forgot.
4M.
They were so far behind them. They weren't even in the.
4am. 4am.
I appreciate, right, that they're trying to do a split, but that split wasn't going to be doing anything.
Look at Nova.
Yeah.
वो लोग अपनी शक्ल छुपा रहे हैं ना शायद?
क्या?
हाँ शक्ल छुपा रहे हैं वो लोग।
Oh man.
I want to read all these signs now. There's
Noah
pure, there's
Paraboy?
pure gold.
I'm busy reading them as well. Yes.
Adanova.
A lot of Paraboy signs. I did. Sure, I mean Paraboy stuff, but I wouldn't have expected that many. It's just crazy. Almost every second one of them.
I saw an I Love Luxy earlier from Bigatron. Sadly.
They were here. They did a signing session.
They were here
They'll
earlier. I saw
appreciate
them.
it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Hopefully. Hey, there's
back.
love your mom.
He's back.
भाई चालू करो।
You think he did that on purpose?
आपका फेवरेट टीम है ना 4M? था भाई था, जब सुख था तब था मेरा फेवरेट टीम 4M।
I think you're being nice. I think he really meant to say love your mom.
My mom's a nice person. No, I like her. So thank you. I appreciate it.
देख ये वाला देख, अबे ये एक फुटबॉलर है, नहीं सॉरी बास्केटबॉलर है, जानता है क्या तू? वही लाला, मेलो नाम का। सेम दिखता है ना?
नहीं भी।
अबे थोड़ा बहुत तो वैसा ही वाइब दिखता है, देख ना। वो बंदा जो वाइट बाल था, मतलब बचपन का मेलो दिखता है वो, करंट नहीं।
हाँ बचपन का,
मतलब जैसे मेलो पहले स्टार्टिंग में आया था ना, वैसा दिखता है। अभी तो बहुत बाल बढ़ा लिए भी उसने भाई। वो तो छोड़, उसने पूरा अपने दांत को डायमंड करा लिया
है।
हाँ दांत को पूरा डायमंड करा लिया भाई। क्या
तेरा भी करा दे।
नहीं भाई बहुत पैसा लगेगा। 420 पे नहीं है।
शैडो के आंखों का डायमंड करा दो बे।
अबे नियो तू करा ले दांत का डायमंड।
दांत का डायमंड।
दांत का डायमंड।
चमकेगा सीधा नियो ऐसा।
For the one and only for today, Blank, after this game we will be halfway through the Pmgc Grand Finals here in Jakarta. We've seen a lot of fan support for the rosters so far today, and Nova have been on a massive upswing.
Absolutely, I think that now they've stamped their place towards that top side of the lobby. Is really good news for Nova. I think they had to have a big bounce back today. No one expected that to happen in the first 2 games though. That is what was very surprising. For a second place to a first place, this is the Nova we're expecting. Again, China is all about adaptation and Nova is the best.
लाला स्ट्रीम कर रहा है क्या? लाला रूटर पे स्ट्रीम कर रहा है guys.
That organization behind them, very easy for them to identify any mistakes, and they're very good at taking on that advice on board and adapting with it and implementing it into their own gameplay. I think that's what is so astonishingly good about Nova in the first place. It's just how easily this team is able to quickly get things done and make themselves into
छुपा लिया भाई सीधा.
team come the next day.
शैडो तेरी बात हुई?
किससे?
कल जो बोल रहा था.
हाँ.
क्या हुआ?
आया हुआ है. भेजेंगे अभी.
हाँ?
आया हुआ है.
अच्छा.
भेजेंगे. बोला हूँ मैंने भेजने. सबका बोलता हूँ. आज ऑफिस से जाके.
भाई मेरा पता है एक दिन के लिए सिम काम नहीं कर रहा है क्योंकि सिक्योरिटी पर्पस.
लॉक था क्या तेरा सिम?
क्या?
लॉक था क्या तेरा सिम?
जो घुमा था?
अबे फोन ही गुम गया तो सिम का बात कर रहा है.
अबे तो वही ना, वही वाले फोन सिम की बात कर रहे हैं.
लॉक था क्या तेरा सिम? वो पूछ रहा हूँ.
वापस मिल गया?
नहीं नया सिम बना.
वापस मिल गया?
हाँ ले लिया मैंने वापस से. मैंने सब कुछ ले लिया वापस से. मेरे को सिर्फ पैन कार्ड वापस से लेना है.
भाई मेरे को जाना पड़ेगा पता है नागपुर. साले तेरे चक्कर में सर दर्द हो गया. तुमने मेरा ना आईडी लिया दोनों के दोनों. अगली बार से दूंगा ही नहीं भाई मैं.
अगली बार से तुमने
इसका पासपोर्ट देना था बे. 420 देख कैसा रोता है ये.
भाग के जाता.
अबे तो चूतिए तेरा पासपोर्ट जाता तो फिर तेरे भी खून निकल जाता फिर.
तो कार्ड तो था ना, तो ये भी तो चाहिए था भाई. वापस जाके बनाना पड़. कितना मगजमारी करनी पड़ती है सब चीजों के लिए.
नहीं है एडो को थोड़ी करनी पड़ती.
पासपोर्ट किसका भी आता कोई भी बोलता भाई पासपोर्ट गायब हो गया बता.
नहीं बोल रहा ऐसा आईडी अगर इसका भी देता ना तो मेरा दूसरा आईडी भी लेके आ जाता है.
कोई ऐसा थोड़ी ना रहता. अरे पासपोर्ट ही है मां चुदा है पासपोर्ट.
अबे सबसे पता है जब इसका बैग घुमा ना, अरे चल पासपोर्ट तो सेव है. कोई नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. ठीक है चिल.
मैं बड़ा हो गया. मैं कहा
नहीं वैसा नहीं होता. बैग घुमा फिर मैं सोचा देना. फिर मैं सोचा कि अब बैग घुमा हुआ है तो याद करे तो उसमें क्या क्या है. फिर पासपोर्ट याद है. फिर मेरे को याद है पासपोर्ट उस पे नहीं है. पासपोर्ट मैंने वेला पे ही रखा है.
और तेरी आदत है पता है पहले बैग से पता नहीं पासपोर्ट निकाल के फेंक देता है तू. पता नहीं क्यों कहीं भी. वो आदत ने तेरे को बचा ली कि पासपोर्ट तूने फेंक दिया विला में आके.
Vampire Esports hat in currently. This
What
could be a good game to
trip.
get some points on board. Influence came in down towards boot camp. Alpha 7 not challenging that one out towards the Kawi. Long way to go for them, but again Sandhawk quite small. Can make these rotates quite easily. Inco deciding to head down towards Sami now. Try and pick up that position, but DRS are very close in the vicinity.
अरे
अबे तो अभी
का कूद रहे हैं लोग.
वहाँ शायद ड्रॉप दूर होगा.
For DRS.
कहाँ जा रहे हैं लोग?
तो सानो कहीं भी नहीं है जो.
अच्छा इधर शामी जा रहे हैं लोग.
They are really chilling right now. They will hit the floor soon enough, and they will have to make their way north.
अबे इधर पता है एक भी हिल बैटल नहीं हुआ कल तो.
On that south side of the map.
किसी को कल देखा ही नहीं मैंने शायद में किसी को हिल बैटल करते हुए.
To the west side.
भाई तो बहुत जल्दी क्रॉस कर गया.
Influence came in. They cross early from boot camp.
भाई पता है मेरे यहाँ इतनी ठंड है ना.
कितना है?
ग्लास वगैरह में ऐसे कुछ भी रख देगा ना अपने आप ठंडा हो जाएगा.
कितना टेम्परेचर है?
हाँ
कितना टेम्परेचर है?
of that Confluence compound, as well as Vampire, who are on the north side near Patin. They've sent Ravenclaw down to control one of the compounds, give themselves a foothold on this area of the map. You've got Wolves crossing on the northern side bridge as well. Looking to move a little bit earlier than maybe we've seen before on Xanok on this.
Again, it's that meta that we're talking about. Pick yourselves up some of those priority compounds, and specifically with this type of shift, there's not a lot of those priority compounds, and that actual position on the map will be taken up quite quickly. So getting people over there nice and early is a relatively smart decision. Influence Kevin realized it, decided not to try and get all that loot from boot camp. Instead, just a quick loot and boot over towards that western side of the map, passing across the shallow edges of the river. Stalwart also moving up towards his position. Already have 2 players towards the roadside on that bridge. 2 behind in top and Pika. But IHC taking a fight with S2G, coming off the back of a very good game on Miramar.
S2G, phenomenal. They topped the points tables from that Miramar, even though they didn't get the chicken dinner. A massive point scoring game for them, leaves them 10 points behind Inco. IHC loses Yol to a knock. Not going to get flushed just yet, but Influence Kemen taking a scrap. Not going to take a knock themselves either. Take that back actually as Fireflux.
यहाँ 7 है temperature. मेरे यहाँ 5.
Both going down now. Soke repositions to look for
इधर 2 है.
reses. Kesh still behind the rocks.
बिहार में 2 है.
Smoke does bloom there.
बोला कोई बंदा.
And Solus not really going to put too much in the push. Hitting the deck with the back shuffle there. Law will not be able to get those bullets over the top. And
अबे गॉड तो इतने स्वेटर पहन के आया था अपने राजस्थान से.
Rough position to be in.
इधर आके उतार रहा था क्या?
Again, they need to make their way over towards this western side.
5-6 कपड़े तो उतार दिए उसने. 5-6 कपड़े उतार दिए होंगे इसने.
Just a little bit before they start to make this move. S2G as well, moving across the bridge on that north side after a little engagement with IHC. They get themselves in over on that northern side of Vampire Esports. You might just have spotted this.
Ooh. Certainly will now.
Shots.
S2G now know there's a fight to be had. Influence Kemen, not too far to the south, but they are still playing smooth on that river, trying to control that crossing. And finally, you there, Kelsey gets the man on the cross and sweeps. Take him down.
11 को बोला इसको.
Vampire trying to just fully disengage from this. Losing a little bit of power there. Stoned at the top, maybe. Shots onto Kelsey. Spots the player, but the door is shut before he can get the flush. Does get the knock, however.
मैं किधर गया? मुंबई, दिल्ली. अभी एकदम एक साथ था लगातार. गोवा, बैंगलोर.
The down players is moving out by AE.
Pondicherry.
They're onto this.
फिर अब मुंबई ऑफिस.
Sniff out the clues down towards this eastern side.
अबे मर गए ना.
Finding shots.
Ooh.
That's one down. Boy, in fact, on the southern edge of this engagement.
On that 2-2 split from Influence Kemen right now.
ये साइड का जोन है क्या लाला?
पर मेरी गलती नहीं है भाई.
Playing both sides of the river.
हाँ.
I really like this position.
क्या तेरी गलती नहीं? तेरी ही गलती है.
Gives a lot of control and slows a lot of teams down.
बहुत सारे ट्रिप्स तू ना भी बोल सकता था पर तूने हाँ बोला.
So you know your North flank teams are going to be a little bit more diminished in power. Ravenclaw given the run around by
17 तारीख का.
The shot's not quite going to get the knock there. Ravenclaw will have to invest in some more healing.
मैं ना ही बोल के रखा था क्योंकि तू ही बोल रहा था.
मैं नहीं बोला था. एक ही जो बैठा है वो बोला था.
Little bit difficult at that kind of range. Oh dear me, IHC. Just about getting away with it. I take it back. Doesn't even make it into the building. T2K can maybe pick up some eliminations here and get free reign over the bridge.
टिकट तू ही किया ना?
On the north side.
भाई मैं तो मना कर रहा था उसके बाद डील भी दे रहे हो तुम लोग ऐसा. ओ भाई.
Quarry, but I also need to make it Inco for the first time in a long time. Right on the edge of the circle, nowhere near the center at the moment.
अरे मैं बोला कि तुम्हें को लगा तुम तीनों जा रहे हो.
अभी कैसा बात कर रहे हैं सर एनडीए में मेरे को नहीं आना था.
We are going to the northwestern island now.
मैंने बोला टिकट करा फिर से बोला
तू करके
दे. Sky Rockets blank, and that is going to be held by Alter Ego themselves. Oh, backed off the ridge line. A lovely shot coming through from Beautiful. From the Wolves. Game 1 went a little bit better for them than game 2. On the day, that is. So hopefully in match number 9 they can get a little bit more done and try and join Nova towards the top of those tables. Try and catch up with 4 Angry Men as well.
You look at Alter Ego. A lot of times when you get this northwest
गए अपन
shift,
सब
it
पर
is
सीन किसी
very
और का ही हो
free
गया
if you're on the mountainside. A lot of teams made their way over here preemptively though.
गए अपन
So a
सब
lot more
तू
teams
मैं
to
नहीं
deal
हो
with. Stalwart
सीन किसी
sends a
और का ही हो
player
गया
in to
इधर
scout
आके
versus the guys from Geek Fam.
अभी आया
A
boot
little bit
camp
of an issue for them, but quickly wraps back round and went towards Camp Alpha.
बताऊंगा तुमको क्या हुआ
CG
boot
also
camp
in
में
this
वैसे
area. Stalwart get themselves in a very tricky situation now with one player
बता भाई।
down and one player completely on the opposite side of the coast.
Order rolls up right into
अरे
the
भर
top, but there's 2 players to hop out.
इनने
Not
भर
really
दिया
that much damage done by top.
अरे
1-2 punch coming around the
भर भर
side.
भर 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 भर
No, it's saved. Does lose the player in the process, but Top
अरे
and Pink
भर
both now have fallen for godlike Stalwart, and Paraboy's up to the bridge. Maybe overcommittal on going for the flush there for Top. Likely to lose the life, but cuts Nova down to 3.
Scry really has to put in some mega
अबे
work
इन लोग
now.
की फाइट हो रही है पता है कल से
Nowhere to be seen. Shots coming through, the tiniest little angle there.
अबे इनको तो मुझे लग रहा है स्टील
Fantastic stuff. Nova's got all these positions on lock at the
क्या
moment.
हुआ
नहीं बाकी टीम वो लोग फॉर्म में
अरे पानी में डाल
Still
दिया
got Inko behind you,
ये मारेगा
which means that you can guard them out. And at the top,
देख तीनों खड़े
you take them out of the mix early.
तीनों खड़े भाग भाई तू
Certainly,
हम मारेंगे
runway opens up. Hopefully looking to try and land that plane if they can.
अबे ऑर्डर को भर दिया
Still
बे
have to push through the remnants of godlike Stalwart. Inko. They're clashing
वो
with
jump
Alpha
मत
7,
कर
who are
रहा
trying to
है
swing in behind them as well. Becca as the backstop
पड़ी
for one of the Brazilian teams, fighting off against the other.
ब्राजील भी अपने में लफड़ा कर
Top of
रही
the
है
hill, challenges out Mythic as well with Becca. Not going to find that knock, but does suppress the angle. Nanabete moving out, playing 2 and 2 now. They want to sweep the back before they make the aggressive move, the aggressive push forwards. They know they can't really do too much if they've got Alpha 7 hounding.
क्या देखो भाई चैट में तुम कुछ बोले ही
Caught
नहीं
between 2 very difficult teams at the moment. Alpha 7 though pushed in by the blue, that is ticking quite hard even at this stage in the game. So
भाई इस बार अफसोस टूर खेल लेना अरे भाई अल्टीमेट अरीना वगैरह नहीं खेलेंगे कुछ सेंसलेस है वो सब चीजें क्या करे वो अल्टीमेट अरीना खेल के शील्ड लगाना सीखे शील्ड भी लगा के खेलो कुछ यूज नहीं है अगर विदाउट शील्ड है वो गेम तो भी ठीक है
Look at that, using the ridge line near the coast for Alpha 7 to actually skirt around it and actually find themselves in that compound. Jimmy will be first to face from Nova. They have managed to get away from Inko, and I don't think they have any idea that Jimmy's here as of yet. There are no vehicles, but he's got to have a challenge. 1 through the door, 2 to hit the floor. Will find the second knock, but Jimmy gets felled by Rebo. Mafioso through to try and
अब पुश मार देगी ना शायद नोवा हां मार देगी
शायद. Not going to be enough to save
Frozen मार
the
देगी
player on the inside. Luckily, they can go for these reses. Frozen, however, with a chance for Nova to change things around a little bit. The nade was cooking, and Mafioso falls.
आखिरी बंदा बचा आखिरी बंदा बचा
Gets 3 knocks. Now it's just Mythic, and Frozen wants to put 1 through. Cooking that
वहीं
perfectly
पे
would spell the end of Alpha 7, but he sends it through and picks up the 2 eliminations instead. Paraboy, Frozen trading off against one another, and Alpha 7 falls.
अरे
Hang on a minute, where did that come from?
अबे कैसे हुआ
Was that a self-nade?
अबे खुद के रेड से मर गए लोग अबे खुद के रेड से मर गए जो फ्रोजन ने छोड़ा हुआ था अबे उसने पहले छोड़ दिया था ना वो पहले फेंक दिया था वो नेड
अरे भाई तो कह रहा कल से ऐसे ही हो रहा है अपन नेट सेपरेट
ब्लंडर भाई क्या ब्लंडर
पैराबॉय का नेट था पैराबॉय का नेट था
नहीं नहीं पैराबॉय का था
हां पैराबॉय
फ्रोजन का था
नहीं अरे किल फीड आया ना पैराबॉय
should Alpha 7 wanted to leave but it was not communicated clearly and forgotten about by Paraboy.
दोनों का जीजी भाई
What a horrible way to end it.
खत्म हो गया
After an incredible play from Frozen.
ये क्या देख ले
They must be so furious with that.
ये गलती महंगी ना पड़े बस
क्या हुआ
You would expect
अपने नेट से फुट गए नोवा देखा नहीं तू
The crossing from the south side proving to be very troublesome for them.
अबे यार
Fireflux nearby, ready and waiting to take any opportunity to slow Inko down at the top of the tables. Buram, they tried to.
भाई बेचारे इतने खुश होके गए कि वाइप कर दिया फिर सीधा बूम.
Alive for the #1 Brazilian team. S2G, they've been on that northwestern island for a long, long time.
Paraboy 1v2 Nova, yes.
Circle as it comes through.
Still great positioning here for Alter Ego to take it all the way here in this match. Influence Kevin find themselves the very strong compound down towards that eastern side.
भाई वो जिमी ने काम कर दिया जो 2 नॉक देके बस और कुछ नहीं.
And even worse, that the only thing that can defeat Nova is Nova, apparently. IHC found themselves a little bit of a handhold.
भाई S2G अगर इसमें लीड ले ली ना मजा आ जाएगा.
Towards the north.
अबे S2G बची है.
A lot of teams just trying to get themselves any kind of advantage. 4AM still moving into the circle at the moment. Been out in that blue for a long, long time.
भाई याला जोन मेरे को पता है बिल्कुल पसंद ही नहीं आता ये हिल वाला शैनॉक का.
Sending across the bridge now, though. This could be the engagement with T2K that they were not looking for.
4AM कोई तो टपकाएगा देखियो.
4AM across the bridge at the north. Fairly low on the health bars, but should be able to pick that one back.
भाई सुक की रोटेशन देखने में मजा आती थी. ऐसा रोटेशन कराता था भाई वो. सीधा अंदर.
But they'll have to move further south on the shift. Alter Ego feel like they've been fairly quiet so far in this game.
By 9th position तक
haven't had to do too much. You don't really want to draw too much attention to yourself.
अबे ST अभी थोड़ा सा कमबैक कर देना आज भाई थोड़ा टॉप 5 तक कल होप रह सकते हैं.
We'll just try and
top 5
sweep the leg and get you to fall down off
चिकन
the side. They can move over towards the south now.
अबे 80-90 पॉइंट तक एंड किया ना आज वो लोग तो हो जाएगा.
Flux who took a position behind Nova as that position was quite quickly cleared, honestly.
Price pool 4 million का.
Southwest side heating up now. Geek Fam slowing down DRS, S2G as well. Close by. Buradam and Fireflux will be entrants into this engagement too. Wolves, a shot from the top of the mountain, and finally Alter Ego are chiming in to the fight. Picking up 2 eliminations now. Maybe looking to take over Vampire as Vampire do fall. T2K moving through the valley.
भाई VP को तो भाई भर रहे
the
लोग.
compound on the other side, in the foothills, in the shadow of the cliff, the mountain of this northwestern island.
ADS लेके जा रहा है ऊपर.
He'll be holding up against Jane on the push. Lil Boy looks to find a backlines. Jane swings in for a challenge, but won't be able to find it. Not just yet. Close up and personal now. Rig not in for the close range backup. Kayovsky has got that DBS to play around with, so it's going to be hard for Jane to successfully breach this building. Lil Boy moves into position.
अबे S2G और ST का हो गया. Action गया.
Federal on the back will be able to spot these players moving forwards. Jane lobs a nade in through the window, but Rig has fallen. And a nade to burst right under their feet.
4M तो rotation
Only
दे
the
रही
one
है.
now remains from the top rope, but will have to move south. And fairly soon as well. Spots 4 angry men and might just go for the points here. Ching Chen finds out all about it. A lovely little spray, a couple of taps more, and you get a point. You take that.
4AM had moved.
अबे स्काई भी गया. कितने बचे? अबे आखिरी बंद गई ST वाइप हो गया.
IHC currently trying to
2 मार दिए भाई संदेश ने.
अबे S2G क्या मार रही है?
Towards the circle. WWX has already fallen, so only 2 players left now for 4AM.
अबे एक तो मैप भी नहीं दिखा रहे वे लोग.
Alter Ego though with a real chance in this game to put up some big points.
Next circle does move away from them though. It shifts to the east.
हाँ देखा खुद के रेड से वाइप हो गए ना.
On the north can take shots at anyone who moves forwards.
तू देखा S2G क्या खेल रही है?
If they can maintain that high ground, however.
आत्मा आ जाती है.
So much control.
ST तो मर गई. नहीं S2G ने मारा.
Shifts in an awkward spot for them. 4AM smokes out position. Alter Ego might have liked to have picked up, so it's going to be difficult.
अभी पता चलेगा.
अरे भाई.
देख फ्रोजन का नेट था वही. अच्छा इसका भी था. 2 नेट थे. इसने भी डाला.
अबे मारने के बाद.
हाँ मारने के बाद वही तो बोल रहा है.
अरे.
Must hurt to watch it all over again.
मिस कैलकुलेशन हो गया थोड़ा सा.
And again.
अरे सर
They still managed to get 6 eliminations.
जीवी को देखा कैसा असर है
So
ये.
it's not the end of
भाई वो तो
still in the fight. In the second place there, they have, however, just lost Hamzy. Far from ideal. 3 players alive for them. Soulcake low for Fireflux. Spray from My Name P. gets the knock, and Fireflux are diminished somewhat. But I'm sure their spirits are far from dampened here. So unless the Geek fan
किसने डाला? किसका नेट था वो? किसका नेट?
मेरा तो नहीं था, मेरा तो नहीं था, मैं तो मरा।
रिकॉर्डिंग दिखा, रिकॉर्डिंग।
UI really leading the charge for them. DRS, only one player remaining.
बाकी दो मरे हुए बंदे खुश हैं।
अच्छा है, मैं नहीं था।
मैं तो मरा हुआ हूँ।
Some more points here.
और जो मरा हुआ है साहब क्या कर रहे हैं अभी? क्यों?
Good for them.
बताने नहीं डाले।
Three teams, sorry.
बताने में क्या जाते हैं?
Influence came in, an alter ego. For a big game this time around. Make the home country proud.
अरे
Silas
S2G
nails the shot
Save
through
out
the door.
again.
Eliminated, unfortunately, though. Alter Ego still have the high ground and leave S2G with one player remaining. 6 eliminations, just Kelsey to move forwards. 4 eliminations from the high ground position, and they've moved 2 down as well. The west side of this circle, it feels fairly controlled now. Influence Kemen and 4 Angry Men are going to have to fight it out for the east.
2 players from 4 Angry Men, tall task in front of them.
कोने check कर रहा है वो।
I like this from Potato though, sticking close towards the engagement, providing information back across.
जल गया।
Looks like it's going to move up towards
दुखी कर दिया भाई उसको।
Influence Kevin coming in now. Law
स्वान था बे।
try and take down these players, remove the vehicles, take out the wheels, but it's 4v2
नहीं,
here.
4M भी गई।
4 Angry Men eliminated with that.
2 पॉइंट मिला।
6 teams remain. Influence Kemen.
अबे अभी अगर ये अल्टर ईगो ने मारी चिकन 30 पॉइंट भी ले ली तो ये लोग आ जाएंगे 60s में टॉप।
अबे आई गेस 10 पॉइंट है चिकन का।
नहीं 15 है, इसके बाद है, इसके बाद है, मतलब ये इवेंट के बाद 10 हो जाएगा। ये लास्ट है जिसमें 15 रहेगा।
इंडिया में क्या चलेगा?
क्या पता। 30 का याद है ना? 30
Fireflux, S2G with Kelsey. But right now, Pombit putting in the work. Survival is in his name, but sometimes that requires you to lash out and do exactly what you need to keep going. He's putting the damage over towards Influence Kemen. And they're suffering right on the edge.
अबे INF ने अच्छा पॉइंट मिला, अगर सेकंड भी आ गए तो।
Become their real enemy.
Potato will have to shimmy just a little bit further forwards. I was checking out the utility available for him. No nade, so can't just underarm bobble a nade downhill towards Influence Kemen. Lutz from Fireflux spotted by Kelsey. Influence Kemen making a breakout wide and trying to move down the hill instead of going on the cliff side. But Potato is there.
सब जगह से पड़ रही है बेचारों को।
From up on high, and Potato finds a second knock as well. Law made the cross, I say unharmed, but now they can start to res up in that location.
Potato, first aid kit. Invested here, but Influence Kemen, it's time, it's not on their side. The blue starting to push them in. Potato still doing work, that's another one down. Brazilian team taking huge casualties from Indonesia.
अरे मार।
Same story for Fireflux and Alter Ego. But they're trying to rack up a couple more. Potato has to drop. With a crucial duel there, but Koyowski has the opportunity now. Cuts his legs out. Does get taken down in the process. Kelsey eliminated by Fnatic on the off angle in the meantime.
S2G भी तो भी 7 पॉइंट लेके गई है।
Can take care of business.
अरे भर दिया।
Down the hill, and Pombit puts the final nail in the coffin against Influence Kemen. It's only solos left. IHC looking to challenge, maybe with 2. Catch behind the wall. And there's a ball coming on in. It's Demo to fall.
अरे इसके पीछे ही बंदा है।
An absolute.
अरे क्या कर रहे हैं DRS का बंदा भाई? 1v4 है। पर अभी 1v2 ही है।
1v3 है।
उठ गया, 1v3 हो गया।
दे दिया। दे मार दिया। Fun bit.
And in Jakarta, they find the chicken dinner. The home team, Alter Ego.
Home team
It's done now, a huge game as well. So many
वो लोग दुखी है पर।
chicken dinner as well. That's going to sit them high and proud.
इनको मतलब 26 पॉइंट मिल गए ना, 11 किल थे।
Really well
26 मिल
didn't
गए।
end on the mountain either. That required finesse to finish that one out. They did need to make some pretty quick adjustments, and the fact that Potato stayed all by himself for a long, long time on that northeast side, still was able to deal with the majority of influence Kevin by himself. Happy days, look at that, the peace signs are up. This was a fantastic match coming through from Alter Ego.
Potato with the MVP for the team. He sat on top of the mountain, on top of Influence Kemen. They controlled S2G from their western flank as well. These are not easy teams to handle.
Not at all. I think that you often see top side of the mountain when you get a northwest finish. It's like it's a done deal. It's really not. It's really never a done deal.
कितने दिनों का फाइनल से? 3 दिन का ही था भाई. कल लास्ट है.
The Alter Ego fam, because look, that last game, absolutely phenomenal from them. It's not an easy finish. A lot of times you get wrapped up from behind. You get players take you out from the top side. If you don't move quick enough as well, you can catch yourself caught on that top side of the mountain. Alter Ego, they set a masterclass of how to play that mountain themselves and really spread their attention and spread it in such a way that they're still able to deal with all these teams influencing from that high ground.
They didn't really need to have that full hands-on approach until that mid-game struck. And that is where they did really start to leverage their position.
Absolutely.
It was, as you said before, incredibly well executed.
The crowd absolutely wild towards the end of that game. You can tell why. It was such a clean finish coming through from Alter Ego. Very, very well done. And that's the type of thing you want to see. I think for Alter Ego, you could be happy with just that, even if the tournament ended now. An excellent way to set yourself on the stage of Pmgc, the biggest tournament in the world here for PUBG Mobile. And a dominant win like that, 4 players still up, and a 10+ elimination game. Goodness me.
A couple of other teams as well having some pretty solid entries there. Influence Kemen, they did stay up fairly late. They got a pretty decent elimination count as well. Fireflux deep into that game. So the top of those tables still very much in the lurch there, with a couple of the top teams going down early on. But it is, as you said, such a treat for Alter Ego to win in their home ground.
Absolutely. I think that when you look at some of this, though, it has kind of switched up the top of the leaderboards just a little bit, with some teams doing quite well, some teams at the top really not doing well at all. I was surprised that Nova was still so pleased with that result. I think that's what makes a good team. You got to have fun with it, right? You have to have fun at the end of the day. If there's no pressure to begin with, you can just play your hearts out the entire time. I mean, it's crazy. I love to see it.
They still managed to get 6 eliminations, right, on that game. So, sure, they shouldn't have gone down there. Quite frankly, they should have been able to go a little bit further. But you also have to think,
much further, actually.
From the position they were in, they still had to cross the river. They still had to get across. There's going to be so many teams looking out your way. So you're probably losing out maybe 1 or 2 points.
Absolutely. I think that you look at this for Nova. Again, I still see it as a win. If you can have absolutely no pressure on yourself during the Pmgc, it becomes so easy to bounce back from something like that, which is beautiful. We're going to bounce back very, very shortly, but in the meantime, we're going to throw this one over back to the desk.
Welcome back to the next absolutely absurd scenes from no one being able to take out Nova but themselves, to AE finally getting that well-deserved chicken dinner that we were searching for so long. 26 points.
I've never heard this much hype for match ranking 7. I don't think it's for the graphic, I think it's for one team. Alter Ego, IMAX, getting himself the heavily awaited chicken dinner right there. And we said it.
Yes.
Played to almost perfection on this Sandhog Battleground.
The way it was done, we were talking about it earlier during the Miramar, we were saying how they needed to readjust a little bit in regards to the pretty much the awareness that they had, and also how they were playing in the macros. They did that so well here. I mean, at one point I was like, oh man, I don't like what Potato was doing. I was absolutely wrong. I'll be the first person to tell you I was absolutely wrong because that man set that squad up to actually get the win. Some of the other stuff though, Fireflux, this was a team that I wanted to see how they were going to be doing. 19 points for them, Influence Gemin as well. 11 points, a good bounce back for this team that definitely needed points. And if we actually go towards the bottom, this is going to make it even more interesting because Inco Gaming and Alpha 7 Esports are towards the bottom.
We're having a little bit of a complete reverse of what we had in the first day. They're towards the bottom right now. Ooh. It's not fun, but hey.
Wow.
Some nice changes up here.
Look how far down Alpha 7 has now dropped. Currently in 5th place with 80 points. Inco Gaming still maintaining, currently tied with S2G. Tied for first place in Influence Gemin. I mean, this is what I was saying. They needed to have a good performance to be able to kind of slow down that push from Nova that they've been doing the whole day. Great stuff.
Exactly, great stuff coming out from them. Geek fans do know just on the cusp, but that can be dropping out potentially off this top page very, very soon. They have to be a little bit careful, but saw some, I think that was, what, 13 points from DRS, so
yep.
Hey, Nepal, slowly but surely showing up, currently in 6th and 7th place, respectively, for the whole region of Nepal. And I'm hyped to see on the second page, what was the step up?
Oh.
They're up in 13th position from 16th, and this is the redemption arc that might be beginning right here, Seven. They looked so far down below. This game puts them back in the race.
It really is. I mean, for teams that we're talking about that we wanted to see changes, Alter Ego's currently doing perfectly that. Fireflux, for them to be able to jump up to 9th place and be tied as well with 4 Angry Men, this is great stuff.
Let's head over to look at the next matches. What is coming up? Match number 10 in just a couple of minutes, which is going to be Arengel. And we've had all sorts of theories about who's going to take Arengel matches for today. The first one obviously has already been decided, which is Inco. But going back to the overall rankings really quickly, I wanted to touch on, because you were saying something really interesting. Is that
mod
for
brother.
AE, or is there maybe beginning of the end in terms of staying in that second page of the overall rankings?
I don't think so. This is hopefully going to be serving as a wake-up call, right? I mean, we said it. That was a gameplay to almost perfection. We had a lot of criticisms for them in yesterday's matches, for the first 2 games before this previous one of this second day of play. If this is the new normal, I'm telling you, the redemption arc might be happening.
ST1 chicken top it, हाँ भाई, chicken ही तो चाहिए.
Jakarta, Indonesia.
Not only just their positioning that I loved in that Sandhawk, I love the aggressiveness. Yes. I love that they were willing to just try to look for those extra points in regards to eliminations, and I'm hoping that that actually continues, saying that it's going to slow down. I don't think they're going to slow down. I'm hoping, as you were saying, carry this momentum, continue doing what you're doing, because right now everything's looking great for them, and with the crowd so hyped up, they better continue to do that, because I'm going to be getting myself a scarf if they continue to do this.
It is absolutely crazy. Honestly, the ground was shaking. Let me tell you that one. The ground was absolutely shaking. We could feel it up here. The energy is just out of the charts. Let's take a look at the teams to watch from both of you really quickly. Start with you, Maxman. S2G, Alter Ego, and IHC. Let me touch on IHC really quick, because I thought they were really interesting in the last game. They were really quiet on that eastern side, but they still racked up some points. Is that something you expect in the
that's the thing that you said, right?
ST must need to win over the chicken guess by
This is like kind of my, I want to see them present. And right now, they've not been really there too heavily throughout today's matches. Only that big pop-off in yesterday's last match, thanks to Zyol in particular. So I just want to see them a little bit more present. They've not been there so far, but we know that the region of Mongolia can be so strong, but so far not looking super surprising.
What about you, Seven? I see some Alter Ego as well, an Alter Ego pick.
मैं कह रहा हूँ खांसी तो रुक ही नहीं रही है भाई.
खांसी हो गई तेरे को?
हो गई. थी भाई खांसी. वहाँ जाने से पहले ही थी. अरे हेडफोन और बात चला गया. रुको गाइस, हेडफोन देखना पड़ेगा भाई क्या है. हेलो. हेलो.
Come on, God, this भाई मारेंगे.
हेलो.
बोलना.
जाना नहीं आके जाने के
ओ भाई 4 मिनट रुक जा, मैं पानी ले गया तो भाई थक गया भाई.
With Alpha 7, I mean, it's always been a worry. I mean, going back to, what was it, Americas, and then going back even more to PMWI, Alpha 7 tends to perform really, really well one day, and then the other just fall off. I was expecting the fall off, and yes, I'll put this on the record. I was expecting the fall off to happen on day 3. I was not expecting it to happen here on day 2. So in a way, I'm hoping it's kind of like reverse psychology. They're trying to hype themselves up. You know what? We're actually going to throw on day 2, and then on day 3, we're going to bring it. Overall, though, these teams are going to have to be able to readjust. This is what makes champions champions. This is what we were talking about with Nova earlier, how they were able to readjust on day number 2, and they've been able to continue to play so well that Paraboy ended up nading 2 of his teammates.
Yeah, you just got to bring that out. You got to do the guy. At least I'm really happy, despite him nading himself with Frozen. They were laughing. Like, they were having a good old time.
They were like, your merit's going to go down.
At least don't get your account banned, okay? This is not the right time to do it. But he's definitely having some fun time over
King
there.
is in the
I do really
building.
like the fact that even the top teams of yesterday, it's not a good thing that they're struggling, but the fact is that even if you're at the top, this lobby is so tough that even teams that were at the bottom, like we saw as Alter Ego in this previous game, even teams that are in the middle of the pack, they can get those big pop-off performances. Even if you're at the top, you are never going to be safe until that very, very last game.
And with that said, I mean, let me just say something in regards to that. If Alpha 7, if they can pull off a win and back it up with a nice amount of eliminations, they're going to be back in the mix. Their confidence is going to be up, and then we're going to be seeing that Alpha 7 that we saw yesterday at the beginning of the 3 matches.
Talking about teams coming back and maybe, you know, grabbing onto that connection towards this first page of the overall rankings, Fireflax has just performed really, really well. They were partly also a little bit quiet on the southern side, but when they actually got out of that warehouse and, you know, were able to push out, then they actually started coming back into this game, and that was the Fireflax that we knew, popping off shots. Fireflax, I think one of you had that in their prediction as well, if I'm not mistaken. You did. What's your hopes for them?
My hopes for them is for them to continue and to just move up that leaderboard. We saw them yesterday, they ended up getting a win. And then after that, there was nothing. It was a bunch of crickets. I don't want that. I don't want it to be like this right now after that sound, after that performance.
Crickets? Fair enough. Okay, I'm not going to go.
It's a saying. It's a saying.
Heard it.
Let's hope it's not going to be like that. Either way, we are getting into the next match, and that means the commentary desk is ready already. Waiting for you is John Allen and Black. Take it away, boys. And have some
We'll have a little bit of fun. We will. Why not? Let's go for a little bit of fun. I can always go for a little bit of fun.
Any time of the week, any day, really. I love it. That's all I want. Just more fun.
More
all the time.
Well, this week is going to be a lot of fun.
Too much fun.
It right now is a lot of fun.
Maybe. I don't think so. Maybe just enough fun. This is the right amount of fun.
But that could also be, okay, whatever. We won't get into the semantics of how to have fun. I'm
I
sure
will.
you guys know plenty about how to have the fun. Of course, Alter Ego fans will have had plenty of the fun in that previous game.
Actually.
Most of the fun was had by Alter Ego fans in that last game, obviously taking that chicken dinner. A magical moment, I'm sure, for the home ground supporters.
A wonderful win as well, really well executed from Alter Ego. I want to see a similar kind of performance out in this next game. You're playing it tactically, really having each other's backs, and some pop-off performance overall from each player, which was really nice to see, honestly. And something we weren't able to see a fair few times over the past day and a half, let's say. I think just looking at Pombit in general, though, this guy has really stood up for the team massively, really doing a lot of good work. Bit of an odd playing path to start off our angle as we head into it right now for match number 4 of day 2. Shooting range down towards Primos. Vampire Esports were getting out the plane very late here.
A west side plane isolates places like Milta, like Lipovka, to be a little bit harder to get to. Novo potentially pretty tricky to achieve there, but you can drop towards Sosnovka military base. We haven't seen too many teams really target that as a main drop, so there might be a little bit of an opening there, but there's certainly going to be a couple who are going for it as a backup drop location. Severny close to the starting point there, which means T2K will be out and over it very, very quickly. Inko breaking out wide, a little bit further west for them. They'll head towards Kameshki and Stauber, probably swing down towards Yasnaya in the next couple of minutes.
We're in a big game here now for Alpha 7. Get things back on track. I think for them, this will be a good time to bring things back into the fold on match 4. It's the only 2 more matches after this one before we head into that final run towards that grand finals itself. See exactly who will take the prize home, and now it's no longer a case of Nova not being in the picture. Could have been anyone towards the top, but now Nova is really chasing after this one.
That's a hard northern circle they're playing, though. It's going to go all the way up north, slap bang on top of T2K in Severny. This engagement in North Georgia, well, I say engagement, this drop in North George, 4 angry men. All 4 of them are in North George. Alpha 7 have sent 2 towards North George, with Mythic all the way to the northeast side in a compound closer towards shooting range. And actually Carrillo sending out almost towards Zaki.
Bit of a change of pace here for Alpha 7. I like this as well. It's a good adjustment. Considering we saw 4
I guess जब एक वो चलता है ना तब दूसरे में problem
to that eastern side. Instead now they have Carrillo towards Zaki. Alpha 7 Mythic over towards shooting range, looting that area. This is going to give them a lot of great anchor points now going forward. They can move over towards, and 4AM might not be able to get the drop on them, getting hit much quicker. Still, 4AM and Alpha 7 this season probably the best.
Guys, I'm back. Sorry, थोड़ा सा late हो गया.
So teams like Alter Ego,
आ गया guys, आ गया.
can quickly get across the bridge as well, and Inko
खाना ले गया था.
towards Stauber. In fact, as soon as they saw that circle pop, they stopped moving down towards Yasnaya, picked up some of the more likely vehicles in that area towards
कोई जिंदा है Discord पे?
So smart move for them. This will give them a chance here. It's been a fair few times over the last couple of games that they have been outside of the circle with no real hope to actually push through matches of teams that were ahead of them.
भाई ये सब क्या पूछ रहे हो भाई चैट पे?
Playing on the mouth of the western bridge. 50 seconds before phase 1 circle closes. Godlike Stalwart.
Welcome.
Long and late towards Novo and military base. They won't have had the most time in the world to get this loot on board. See level 1 helmet invest there, full top. Wolves making their rotation as well. That's right.
Sound बढ़ा दिया guys, बढ़ा दिया.
Moving up to the church now, a launching point towards the ruins, potentially up towards Rozok.
Pmgc always a great springboard for a lot of these teams, just in terms of being able to rotate fairly easily from that spot.
बढ़ा दिया.
Buddhadam really not had breakout performance as of yet. Alter Ego, in fact, passing them now with 57 points in 13th place. In a really good position to actually start catching up a lot of these other teams towards 7th. Really good standout here for Indonesia. For a team that looked almost out of the picture on day 1.
They were in the teens of points at the start of today.
Everyone
well, they have done well to kick it up a gear with that previous game, but it is a question of maintaining that, as we have questioned time and time again from Inko. At the top of the tables, obviously now being tied on 93 with Inko and S2G. The tiebreaker, of course, meaning Inko wins out with the chicken dinner count that they've had. S2G falling behind on that metric, but it is still very, very close. And then 3rd and 4th is also tied between the Influence Kemen squad and Nova, 82 apiece with Alpha 7 right at the door with 80.
Again, though, starting the day at 78 points, John. Only 2 points found so far for Alpha 7 over 3 matches. That buffer definitely slipped away. No longer that safety net beneath them. It's time to start getting the boots dug into the ground. Get something done here, because really starting to slip away from a little bit. Nova ahead of the 82, tied with Influence Kemen, 82 points apiece.
भाई A7 ना जग दिया बे 3 पॉइंट ही लिया
Drawing ahead now of Alpha 7 is
बहुत
kind
गंदा
of what I expected as well. This team was a favourite of mine, honestly. Coming from Americas, they just looked leagues ahead of most Western teams, in fact. That includes HVP as well as Mad Bulls.
मेरा साउंड तो सही है भाई क्या हुआ मेरा साउंड सही
Drop-offs in performance over in the group stage. But yeah, I think influence came in definitely that favourite Brazil team for me. Inco, a strange strategy that seems to work out, and you respect them for it. Just think that influence came in the kind of that team that just keeps on trucking.
Just always there, always in the conversation.
Yeah. Nova लेके जाएगी अभी.
Coming into Pmgc, we were worried about S2G, Blank. We were worried that this was a team that had dropped off a little bit, qualified through Pmgc points, remember, to the group stages, and didn't manage to get one of those top spots in the European regional, which would have seen them in had they not been up the top for the Pmgc points from Turkey, from the PMPL points, sorry, people were worried about their group stage, but they came in swinging. Now here they are in Jakarta in the finals, tied for the top spot. This is a team that I don't think too many are going to be worried about from here on out.
Yeah, some seriously clutch players on the side of S2G. You saw that throughout the group stage as well, with some seriously potent moments from them.
Prediction by
I think the player on that team that I kind of discount, honestly. I think every single player has their own role to play. Every single one of those players can become the fragger if necessary, which is really good in any team. Now to have that to fall back on in those dangerous moments that anyone can perform at any given time. T2K would get some more points on the board, currently in 7th place, not doing too badly for themselves. A lot of ties at the moment though. 63 and 63 between Fireflux and 4am, 67 and 67 between T2K and Geek. Again, this is just one of those lobbies where we have a real even spacing of points. Starting to break away a little bit now towards that top side. So we meld into that middle pack.
Vampire now 16th place on the table. 13 points clear at the bottom there. They were saying over on the desk that Satani had indicated that they weren't going to change anything. It seems that that is true. And unfortunately for them, not changing anything means that they are going to continue to perform under expectation in a way that is not what you'd expect of a PMWI champion. Back to back, I think they earn pretty vast sums of money over there as well.
Yeah, I think Max was actually talking to Corpo, he was talking about it on the desk, that they said that now they are going to make some changes coming into this match 4. So there are going to be some differences for Vampire Esports. We'll see exactly what those are. Looks like they are moving a lot earlier than usual. I think that was necessary at this point in time. I don't think you can really play edge with this. With this current lobby, who are just sending it for that center, sending it for those priority compounds. The thing is, with this level of players, these level of teams, they could quite easily hold onto these compounds. Once they pick up a priority compound, very difficult to dissuade them from that position. It has to be a very clean crash, and we haven't seen a lot of those recently just because of how skilled these players are at holding.
It is very, very difficult to make those crashes unless you can capitalize your third party on the engagement. Unlikely you'll get away with it unscathed. Nova near to S2G, 2 heavy hitters in the lobby. Frozen takes a lot of damage early. Order cannot find the lineup. Order moves on down, and a sliver of HP gets the flush as well. Frozen and Order in still, but in comes Silas and Hamzy for backup. They swipe each other away. Oh no, he's run himself over with the vehicle, and Hamzy's low on the HP as well. Looks for the flush off the Paraboy, and potentially even needs to go for this res. Alpha 7 are nearby, and Hamzy falls. It is absolute chaos here, Blank.
That run is so unfortunate. I think they got out of the vehicle just a little bit late. A little bit early, in fact. There is a momentum base that you can hit and get out quite safely. Fortunately for S2G, a little bit too soon. Everything came crumbling down around them because in reality of things, that was a good play from S2G, a very quick response.
But down they go. And Alpha 7, I mean, we literally just spoke about it, right? Unless you get third party on engagement, it's going to be difficult to roll up unscathed. That's exactly what Alpha 7 managed to do here. IHC going to be peppering them from the back now as well. 2 players
underground,
Order and Frozen for Nova to stay alive near the shooting range. IHC move through, but Mafioso has got the oversight to slow them down, to give his teammates room to breathe.
Absolutely required here as well, John, to get them back into a position where maybe they can hold on. 3 players, 3 eliminations though. Now having to deal with IHC. That's 1 knock going their way, so perhaps holding on. Nova just 2 players hiding in the bunker here. It's an okay start, 1 elimination, but they've got to go a little bit further than this. And right now, Alpha 7 have got them in pitched warfare. Unlikely they're getting out from underneath this bunker. They are locked in.
Mythic tries to keep them pouring down the stairs. Try to bank it off the wall. Does take a little bit of damage.
Yeah, damage there, bhai.
And doesn't throw any more with the smoke there. Oh, steps back up towards it. And again, backed off. Such a small route of ingress. You can't really push down here, especially with Frozen on the boxes. With 3 players, it's likely that you do lose this. With 4, you might want to chance it, but even then, it's super risky.
100%. 4 players might have been nice. Not enough with that. Getting the refrags on the 4 would have been a little bit dicey.
But action.
The 3 and the capability of the guys coming through from Nova, so unlikely. Great shots coming in from Yuhai. This guy is an adaptive player, a freak when it comes to speed. His reactions, so good.
Spins Godlike Stalwart out on the buggy, picks up the flush.
Done.
Couple more players still to go, and a northward shift again for the players on that south side. Keeps Severny in it, Inco on the south point of it. As Wolves taking on 4 Angry Men, going back and forth. This is on the east side of Severny in the hills, right on the crash, and 4 Angry Men sweep them aside. You're talking about consistently and staying in that conversation when you were referring to Influence Chem, and they're always there. I feel like 4 Angry Men, they have a similar reputation, but they just haven't stood up as much.
Some unfortunate games for 4 AM. Not quite able to get as far as they'd like, and I think some of that has been due to circles today.
Uh-oh.
Geek Fam moving through. Alter Ego, though, find themselves positioned to maybe hold out the guys from Geek Fam, who are sent away now. Inco was able to move down from Stalbert. Good decision at the start of the game to play up there. By the time they had swinging across the parachutes, it's just a perfect choice for them. They've moved into a very central spot, to be honest. Should assist in the rest of the game.
A lot of points being taken away. I say points, sorry, players being taken away from the teams in the top 5. Only Inco remains at full force. And we've seen what they can do if they're left alone for a long time in these circles. Fireflux nade over towards IHC. That is inside Severny, the northern end of it. So with the buildings as cover, that might be a little bit of an opportunity. Look at that, they keep pouring them on through. IHC have lost 2 now. So Fireflux looking to control North Severny.
Good position to hold, actually. Fireflux can keep it held down versus IHC. Unfortunately, taking a knock there onto Solus. Fireflux currently in 10th place, losing that lead to 4 AM. Fortunately, 4 AM is now down to just 2 players right in dead center of Severny.
Alpha 7 pushing in from that western side as well, forcing IHC to make decisions. Solke down for Fireflux. A nade from Alpha 7 over onto Demo as forward position Godless does get res by Ziol. Nades can continue to be thrown out, but Mythic wants to capitalize on the position and will push into the building. Wants the challenge. Fades away just a little bit. Spotted on the cross. Can he get back behind the wall? Yes, he can. Ziol not able to curtail that rotation. Demo still not res. Alex will start to stick it now with the smoke starting to bloom as Revoke puts a Molotov in to stop any pushes coming on through. Ziol cooking the nade, wanting to launch it over towards Alpha 7. In the meantime, Fireflux back up to fighting form. On the eastern side have managed to find a little bit of compound to play with. Further south, it's the warehouse.
Hi, hello, bro.
Finally find their way into the circle now. Buradam really been struggling over these past matches. Find themselves a position again. Everyone here in the PMGC, there's not a single team that is on horrible points. Moves up though. Geek Fam sends Alter Ego back. That's 2 down already.
And a flush as well. One more potato to go. And will be found. Snipes his way into them with a DBS. One player now standing in 8 rounds. 8 cartridges still to chunk on out. One player for Alter Ego. And he'll start to step up now. Will go for one. Damn rude. Goes low as well. The spray around the side, but the DBS. Oh, it's just too much. The UMP to find the final points of damage. But Geek Fam are getting rolled up on. It's Burram with Kengzo. And Godlike Stalwart have a DBS of their own. They will dispatch the players in green. And Scry stays alive. Pika knocked but Reservoir.
Such an effective weapon from the
UI
guys
ने 3
from
मारे, UI को
Geek
goal
Fam really putting in the work with DBS.
मर गया इनका.
Beautiful stuff. 1-2 punch the entire time. He was extremely accurate with it. Waited for his moment.
मर दिया भाई, मर दिया. इसलिए का एक बंदा मर गया पहले.
On a piece of the action. Molotov doesn't go through the window. Won't give them that space that maybe they wanted, but the nades again one drops out the side, but it might be enough if it pops right now.
Top row, beautiful stuff. In comes the push as well. Snipes now in a 1 versus 1. He knocked out the window to take the teammate down. 5 cartridges. DBS versus DBS. Godlike Stalwart around the door frame. He pushes through and Scry to close down the fight. Finally, 4 teams have rolled up into these buildings and only 1 player has survived it. It's Scry from Godlike Stalwart.
And that's
the cacophony of DBS as well, just resounding through that compound. I almost felt like Snipes was going to take it all the way home. So successful with that DBS in the first place. A truly marvellous moment. He was able to finish that one out. But now only Scry left, and realistically, it was Geek Fam to make everyone pay much more dearly for that position than they had hoped.
Scry now has DRS to deal with. An aid in, that looked pretty perfect. And Delta shows us just how it's done for DRS. The team from Nepal, they started off with the first chicken dinner of the tournament blank back in match 1, but since then they've been fairly middling. However, they are still in 6th place and very much still a part of the conversation now on that east side. Really one of the very few teams with power outside of Severny right now. Inco, they've been hunkered down on the south of Severny and allowing these 3 teams to their north to just fight it on out, to duke back and forth.
Burram, still with 3 players, moves towards that northern side, 4 AM. Still with a strong spot in the twins there. Obviously only 2 players, but can get further along right now with the 4 limbs they have and get a high placement. The amount of players remaining, the amount of teams, it's quite likely we'll see a lot of them fall soon.
जो मैंने तुझे रिकॉर्डिंग
Especially
भेजी
how
ना,
clumped up they are over on that western
क्या
edge.
मैच हो रहा है, हैं? वो यही
They want
जोन
to
था भाई, वो
leave
यही जोन था.
or
जो
take some
world
good
famous
shots over
recording है.
towards anyone that's moving out from that northern side. Fireflux, A7, IHC, no
कौन
balls
बोला?
still in the mix.
कौन
2
बोला push
players.
करने?
push करके मार दो.
T2K
कौन बोला push करने?
from the south will need to push up north. Vampire will be in their way if they try to move a little bit further east of that. Burram will shoot down,
इनको push करके मारना
as
पड़ेगा.
well as 4 angry men, but Inco will hold that south point fairly firmly. 4 nades in hand for Inco over there. I think they might have spotted that Alpha 7 got a little bit close. Nova trying to skirt around on the south side. Spotted by Vitali. Lights up Frozen, gets the flush. Order up to the wall. They know he's there. And Order is not going to be able to make it any further. Nova down, eliminated. 11th place, 1 elimination. That's going to drop them beneath Alpha 7. And now it's the Brazilian teams with a chance to realign for the top 3 on the tables.
A very good chance as well. Influence Kevin up towards the northern side. Inco tucked away on the west. Alpha 7, this really is an important game for them. 4 eliminations, down to 1 player now. Not really a hope to get their fellow teammate back up again. T2K as well taking heavy casualties on this side.
3 players left. Active and Reservoir behind the rock. They are in this next zone, so as long as Vampire don't take them down, Burram is their main threat here from behind. And of course, Burram will need to be pushing on in to this next circle. The smoke's all starting to fade now. That smoke line really shunted out of control. And Vampire on a solid ridge line here on the east of Severny. potential here to put in a shift.
Yeah, they could get a huge amount of eliminations over towards that western side. Killer. Very dangerous to that one. Swims over the top of some of those players over towards the north and influence Kemin. Certainly a terrifying weapon to come up against. Revo though still going. Can't count out Revo either from Alpha 7. This guy is an absolute beast when it comes to solo clutches.
Put around 2 players behind. T2K still in the queue to get into the next circle. 2 players on the forward, sorry. They have got their backstop in Tiger out to the east, and he's taking shots over towards Rig to get the flush. Knocks over towards Vampire, or certainly damage, if not knocks just yet. And that's going to suppress that position nicely. Vitali for Inco has been knocked in the meantime, but Becker can reposition, wend his way through the streets of Severny to keep them going. Currently, Inco sat at the top of the tables, tied with S2G at this stage. 2 eliminations apiece, puts them at 95. And anything more is gravy for Inco to open up that lead. Alpha 7, you talked about Revo not being able to count him out. See how much further he can go. He's currently 11 points behind that second place position on S2G.
I think getting towards the top placement probably high priority for him right now, but again, he has some time to play around with Severny still being just about in. T2K put it out, moving up towards Vampire Esports position. You can see it's so
Vampire is coming, baby. Vampire is coming.
Horrifically tough for Balaram.
अभी पर देख रहा है इसमें बहुत कम बंदे बचे
roasted him there.
सब फाइट करके मर गए
बहुत ज़्यादा ही कम
Influence
बचे
coming on the north side. DRS moved 2 up to them, so maybe even got them out. Nades from Rules and from Delta starting to pour over towards the beach side. As Influence Kemin have to make that crossing sooner rather than later. Wanting to move up and get away from the rest of the team. They don't want to all go down here. Killer as well, with an excellent sightline to control this crossing. However, DRS have to move themselves. Are they going to invest all this time just to take down Influence Kemin?
They can take down Influence Kemin, means they can control the northern side of the map. I think that's what
पर VP बहुत चोक पोजीशन में सेंटर पे इधर-उधर से उठेंगे तो
very much doubting that Influence Kemin is going to let this one go easily. The DRS currently have the roadside. It's a very smart rotate from them to hold out the boys here. But Nay's coming through liberally. The guys from Influence Kemin. One goes down already. Yante immediately has to move in for the assist. In the meantime, Federal gets up towards the roadside. What a play from him.
Delta
a very
close.
limited amount of time as well to make that happen.
Giante with 2 players to deal with now. Delta has to push around the side of the smoke, and Law not able to deal with it. And Influence Kemin torn apart there. DRS now have that control on the northern side, Blank.
भाई पता है इसलिए ऐसा अंधा पुश करने में ऐसा होता है
really tough fight there for him, especially with the initial not coming through, and Federal playing that one marvelously. Again, it's that 4v3, it's the man advantage that comes through to bear.
भाई ये देखना तू
10th
मैच लगा लोगों को 100 पॉइंट क्रॉस करने के लिए
circle with 4 players alive as well. It'll be tough to dismount them. 4EM though surprisingly still going with just their 2 players.
DRS smokes out. Roll forwards. Delta. Giante leading. Trying to snake back together there. 4AM. With their remaining players, 2 of them to the south. Good Xiao and Ting Chen. Wanting to hold out on the eastern side. T2K have been surviving to their credit. Under the supervision of Vampire. They are right on the edge of this next circle. They still have Tiger to worry about from Buriram. Inco on the inside have just been chilling for so long in Severny.
4 finger try कर लो देखो आपकी गेम की मोमेंट और उसको
taking time. Okay. It's picking their moment, man. They've got to pick their moment. Again, I'll say it one more time, it's that nitro boost. And it's very important that you don't hit that nitro boost too soon. You don't want to be rolling over the finish line. You want to be absolutely blasting past it.
Push.
They won't have to move even in this next circle.
Finals,
they might want to take a little bit more possession, but Solus is going to be wanting for a little bit more than that. He's got plenty in catch.
Red blood बहुत miss करता
है. Alex flushed out, Godless dispatched by Lutz on the sidelines. A nice little third party, and it's just Demo. Ziol's too low to be a part in this fight, but Demo handles business on the inside of the camp and drops from the top rope. The heal was good, and Ziol keeps Godless alive.
Any kind of fight there versus IHCs, they swarm up on their position. T2K ripping apart Vampire Esports. They've remained on the south side for a long time and quite quietly too.
Brilliant nades coming through to dispatch a lion's share of the Vampire position. 3 players down, and Ravenclaw cowed under pressure. Tiger has taken this opportunity for Buriram to move on up and actually take a backstab attempt, but unfortunately the crossing is not going to go well, and 7th place, 2 eliminations is not going to be enough to lift you off the bottom of the tables in a position that was potentially very, very strong. Vampire have it all come crumbling down. Now, Buriram losing their last as well brings us to 5 teams remaining.
इनको की किस्मत अच्छी है कि क्या
edge, don't expect anyone to be at the back.
हिल ही नहीं रहे भाई वो वहाँ से.
And don't prioritize that position as a threat.
उनका zone बहुत favor दे रहा है.
For them, it's where they do get taken down from.
जब से 7 में zone बना तब से वहीं पे हैं. Team zone से.
1 player lit up, 1 in the shack. Jane stays alive for now. It is in the next circle. Inco can still just play in these buildings, however, and with that sightline, with that hard cover, they can provide such a difficult time to everybody else in this lobby.
अरे वो टीम चेंज कर लिया ना कब का 2 साल पहले
the opportune moment. Now they're ready to go.
2 साल पहले चेंज कर लिया था.
Serious damage over towards 4 AM. Again, absolute miracle that they've even got this far, to be honest.
अबे वो पहले 4 AM से सेकंड आया था ना.
Some long shots over that way.
फिर दूसरी टीम में गया, वहाँ पे भी सेकंड आया.
Is where they're going to start to blast out, and they knew this compound would be extremely powerful if it remained in for a while. See where the circle goes. Will it still hold them in?
Once they've dispatched IHC, they have a ridgeline in front of them.
तो zone तो वैसा ही बनेगा अभी.
But it's broadside to DRS. DRS really the main threat now against this Inco position. They don't even have to cross the road. They still have the walls to play with, Blank.
मेरे को लगा walls पे है.
Buildings पे नहीं है. Buildings पे नहीं है.
That is the most difficult scenario. Inco's once again identified the most based position here on the map, honestly. As long as they could remain in it, they knew that the rest of the game would be fairly simple. It's 4 AM out, 6 eliminations, still a 5th place with that. Going down to 2 early on is not a bad result whatsoever.
Any double-digit game is good news. And that's exactly what they were able to find here. IHC moving on in, but Vitali spots Godless on the broadside. Ziol as well, trying to move through the smoke, but DRS delivering
on the
promise of their position. Both of the players from IHC eliminated. 7 eliminations, 4th place.
पर मेरे को लग रहा है जब तक DRS का ध्यान
T2K surviving Jane in the shack. Not into the circle, will have to shift a little bit forward, but it's 4 versus 4 with a wild card in T2K.
This is the time for patience though, John, because Inco's exit from this position in Severny quite difficult. Squash spot is Jane.
अबे इसके घर पे है zone.
अबे है वही तभी तो मैंने कहा walls पे भी zone है थोड़ा-थोड़ा.
To be over towards DRS at the end game. But Jane's got perfect cover to play in, and DRS are happy to wait this
पर इसके बाद उन लोग को आना पड़ेगा अभी 9 zone आएगा.
Delay this game out even longer.
असोच किस्मत उनकी इतनी अच्छी वहीं पे बन जाए.
नहीं 9 zone देना.
Position completely
dead zone.
Needs to burst the buggy.
Dead zone.
Takes too much damage from it. Ankles tagged by the play zone.
अब dead zone है. अब 4v4 है proper.
2 teams remain now in pitched 4 versus 4.
अबे Delta ने क्या?
Looking for that heal. Becca taken pretty low as well, but does get the heal off himself in the blue zone. That'll be crunch forward. Delta moves up to the crate, and that could be crucial, Blank.
That's the biggest move in all this, and the smokes are really good. Disorientated Inco a little bit, but getting these 2 players up, very important.
Oh no.
Squash, unfortunately.
DRS निकाल सकती है.
हाँ DRS निकालना.
Vitali struggling to get across to
nice.
DRS. Might have just played this one out perfectly. Then they're down. Just back the remaining. A horrid push for them going forward. I don't even think they can get the player back up on his feet. DRS actually going for aggression now.
Nice.
Vitali still active, but they get lit up by Delta.
भाई इनको पर cozy point क्या ही
extend their hand and put the chokehold on the circle. DRS from the northeast side push on through. And the first match was theirs. Now in match number 10, they're able to do the same.
इनको position point बहुत Brazil की सारी team position point
a really good result there.
अच्छी खेल रही Brazil के इस बार.
Very good decisions. Taking that fight towards influence came in when there was a lot going on around the map, but understanding of that northern side was going to be so important for buying them time for that end game, considering where Inco was playing in Severny. They knew that, look, we have the wall for us. We're just going to take pot shots at everyone out towards that side of the map on the east. But DRS don't give them that chance. They smoke out. They get a player up towards that crate. It was fortuitous it was there in the moment. But they make all the right moves at all the right moments. I've got to be very, very proud of DRS from Nepal here, because that was a marvelous game. Very, very well played out. And that should see them further towards the top of the rankings now. Actually, very far towards the top of the rankings, considering where they were. I think it was about 70 points at the start of this game.
Talking about seeing yourself to the top, I mean, Inco, they started towards the top, right? They are absolutely going to have extended a really nice lead now towards the end of today with an Erangel match that potentially they could have taken home, but either way, it's a good result. It's double digits, and that's what we want to see. I think they might have even broken 20 on that game.
I think they might have broken 20 on that game. I think Inco did very, very well. And again, there's a lot of these smart decisions coming out from these teams that are getting the chicken dinners so far. Not only DRS taking that position towards that northern side, but also Inco deciding to wait down towards the south, allow a lot of that action to conclude up towards the north side of Severny, and from there, just kind of take those shots at everyone else that really didn't have that cover to play around with. So it was very smart play from both these teams, but at the end of the day, I think DRS just absolutely had Inco in the chokehold. It was not one that Inco wanted to find themselves in. I thought they thought that would be an easy finish for them. But again, that's DRS just identifying the faults of that gameplay. It only lasts for so long. It's only good for so long. As soon as Zone 9 hits, their life becomes so much harder. I think they had to have a player move out much earlier towards that ridge side, under the cover of DRS finishing up a lot of these engagements. Although Inco did get a lot of success, a lot of result out of that position, it was eventually going to become a bit of a moot point. So getting players up early on would have really assisted them, because if you have those 2 anchor points early, getting those other players towards your position with smokes easily thrown from that would have been the key play. And I think we mentioned it, Inco was just going to sit around for a while. It's what they do,
yeah.
And I think they make that smart decision of where to play, when to play it, but I do think they need to figure out this a little bit more proactive gameplay.
They made one rotation.
Yeah.
That whole game. It was into South Severny.
Exactly.
And that was it. That was their entire game.
They
plan.
identify a very good spot. That's the
true.
thing. Every single game they identify a very good spot. But the proactivity of the late game, really, there's something that needs to change in that regard. Because, again, we're seeing this case of Inco being blessed a little bit by these circles. And it's hard to say, right? Yeah. It's hard to say if they're being blessed or not. But at this point in time, when you see them make that singular rotation, it happened throughout group stage as well, which is what it makes me hesitant to say it here in Pmgc, because I don't want to have to say that Inco's run has been based on luck, but a lot of the time it has. I will say this is a very intelligent team. I think that's one thing they have, but proactivity, aggression, it's not really in the tool set right now.
What's unfortunate as well is that T2K, they dropped in Severny. They went south, and Inco, in that time frame, snooped on in and actually were able to take that away from T2K. T2K obviously ending up coming third, sure, but that position in second would have been so much sweeter.
It's ballsy maneuvers from Inco that continue to work out for them. So, I don't know. I want to see more ballsy maneuvers towards the end game, though.
Well, that's exactly what DRS delivered on, right? They were able to do so much work, taking care of IHC on that side of the circle. A little bit of a risk, but with all 4 of them alive, they stayed in the fight, they made it work, and they took home match 10.
DRS कितने किल पता नहीं, देखा नहीं। फालतू पैसिव खेलती है इंडियन टीम्स। भाई इधर भी पैसिव ही खेल रहे थे, कोई ऐसा घुस घुस के नहीं मारा है। इससे क्या सीखने मिलेगा इंडिया को? कुछ मतलब स्ट्रैटेजी सीखने मिलेगी और कुछ नहीं। बाकी तो इंडिया के पास है। स्ट्रैटेजी लैक करते हैं हम लोग। DRS किल 10 #2 आ गई DRS 98 पॉइंट के साथ इनको। नाइस नाइस नाइस। इंडिया में टूर्नामेंट नहीं हो रहे तो कम से कम प्रॉपर लाइनअप के साथ BGMI स्ट्रीम कर दो। ठीक है भाई, यही करते हैं।
DRS बहुत अच्छा खेल रही है भाई। मजा आता है भाई, ऐसे टीम खेलते हैं बढ़िया बढ़िया। सोनी पे खेल रहे हैं। एरिक्सन वॉशरूम हो गया।
The app since yesterday. Make sure to download the update and check out Warrior Trial and awaken your fighting spirit we saw in the opening scene. It's pretty cool. Before we head into a deeper analysis of the last game, we will be going into a short break. Stay tuned though for more PMGC action.
इनको हाय शड भाई हेलो डीआरएस की रोटेशन अच्छी यस हेलो शड भाई हेलो भाई हेलो
सरप्राइज
And welcome back to Pmgc 2022. We will be heading into match number 5 in just a couple of minutes. But before that, we should look at the overall rankings. Not only that, we should maybe take some moments to discuss that last game, which was DRS and obviously T2K as well, that performed fabulously for their
गाइस थोड़ा काम आ चुका है मेरे को तो अपन थोड़ा स्ट्रीम बंद करना पड़ेगा थोड़ा सा काम आ गया अपन कल मिलेंगे फाइनल वॉच पार्टी करेंगे मैं वैसे ऑफलाइन देखूंगा गेम अपन कल मिलेंगे फटाफट जल्दी जल्दी कल एकदम ऑन टाइम मिलेंगे तो मिलते कल बाय बाय गाइस टेक केयर गुड नाइट स्वीट ड्रीम्स हम बाय 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 हेलो 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 बाय 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 बाय
Empty hearts and neon lights. They're playing with my mind. Gotta get out of here tonight. Oh, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone. Just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. La 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 la, oh, oh. Get me out of broken hearts and starting fights. Turning truth to lies. Gotta get up, stop wasting time. Yeah, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone. Just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. Oh no. Empty hearts and neon lights. They're playing with my mind. Gotta get out of here tonight.